What's up? What's up? What's up? New York Giants fans, welcome back to another edition of New York Giants Conversation, the hottest morning show on YouTube for the New York Giants, man. I am your host, Unpopular Opinion Sports, with my main man, Big Pat Sports Talk, and we are going to get into the New York Giants schedule release. We're going to do a game-by-game analysis breakdown, give you some win-loss predictions here. Also going to get into a little out of on the money or out of pocket. And we got a new segment, man, for you, man, where Pat is going to go in. Big Pat is going to go in and break some things down for you, man, right here on Giants Conversation. So all that and much more, y'all hit that like button. Y'all share this out on your social media platforms. Let's help this channel grow. We've been doing this, man, for over 5 years now. So putting in the work, man. Help us get to where we going, man. We definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. And let's kick it off, man. Let's get it.
Welcome to Giants CONVO.
All right, let's get into it, man. Definitely appreciate y'all for tapping in tonight. Or today, I should say. I'm used to working at night.
Right.
Y'all leave me alone, man. But let's get it, man. Let's get it. We're gonna get into the New York Giants schedule release, of course. Things dropped Wednesday, and a lot of Giants fans are somewhat optimistic. You do have some pessimism out there as well. It is a very, very tough schedule, so we're gonna have to see. We're gonna get into all that. We're gonna break it all down how we do right here on New York Giants Conversations. And I mean, this is a big year for the New York Giants, of course, drafting jaxsondart, abdulcarter. And they got to show something in this division, Pat. They really got to start to show something in this division. And guess what? You got 2 division games right there off the bat. Y'all see them on the screen, at the Commanders and at the Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to talk about it. But shout out to the chat. Shout out to my co-host, Big Pat, man. What's good? Leaf Diggy in the building. What's good? Eric Johnson in the building. What's good? Iman Perry. What's good with you, man? Appreciate y'all. Brooklyn Bell Network. If you aren't subscribed, subscribe right now for New York Giants Conversations to the Aboriginal Sports Network. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, man. So Pat, looking at this schedule, before we get into the win-loss records and game by game, what's some of the things that stood out to you when you first looked at the schedule and it first dropped?
One of the first things that stood out to me, man, was the beginning of the schedule, man. We get 2 divisional games to start off the season, and I do believe this is going to determine what the New York Giants are in the beginning of the season. What's going on, Rob? Gotta speak to you too, Rob.
Yeah, I need your number, Rob.
Yeah.
Get me on Twitter.
It's going to determine who we are. I think these are 2 winnable games in our division. I definitely think the Cowboys is a winnable game, and believe it or not, I think the Commanders is a winnable game. They're not a juggernaut, even though they had a great season last year, losing in the NFC Championship game to the Eagles. I think more film on Jaden Daniels and how to play him and start to understand how to play him, will help us out a lot. And I think our defense can, step up and let us win a couple of ugly games. But if we start off 0-2, that's really going to crush the spirits of this team because now you already know that you're in the butt of the division again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for these first 2 games because I want to see who we are in our division. Forget all the other stuff, man. Can we beat good teams and everything? Can we beat our division? Can we be competitive in our division? Because obviously, if you're competitive in the NFC East, you could be competitive in the NFL because the NFC East has been running the NFL for a minute. The Eagles, the Commanders jumped up. The Cowboys are always whooping ass. So we gonna see, man. Ghost Dog, what's going on? But that's what I'm excited about.
Mets, what's good? Ghost, what's good? Aboriginal Sports Network in the building, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Make sure y'all share this out on your social media platforms. Retweet it. Do what you got to do, man. We about to get it popping today. New York Giants fans, let's go. Commanders. Let's start here. New York Giants 0-2 last year against the Commanders. The first game, it was a field goal game. So Giants have a kicker. They probably win that game. Second game, 2 pretty close games for the most part. But everybody's hyped. Everybody's excited about the Washington Commanders. Everybody's got them up towards the top of the rankings in the NFL. But beware, because we have a small sample size with this team. 1 season with Jaden Daniels and in this group. Now, they did make some key moves in the offseason. Couple names I'm going to give you. Michael Gallup and Deebo Samuel. They added to their receiving core. They added and traded for Laramie Tunsil. So their offensive line had got a whole lot better there. Now, they got Tyree Phillips and Bobby Hart. They love Giants backups, boy, I'll tell you. They love the Giants backup offensive linemen over there. But on defense, they got better too. Namely, Javon Kinlaw, who they signed. Dietrich Wise, they added Will Harris, the safety out of New Orleans. So the Commanders did make some sneaky good moves, of course, coming off the championship game last year. When I look at this matchup, the difference is Jaden Daniels versus Russell Wilson for the Giants. And it's not that Russ is a bad quarterback. It's just that he's a new quarterback to the New York Giants and especially to the NFC East. So I'm a little concerned if I'm the Giants just to see how this team looks, because every year, the Giants, it seems like they should have some continuity, but they come out and they start slow and they get off to a slow start. You would think a team that has veterans, a team that's been in the same system, and we're going to talk about the system too later. Y'all stay tuned for that. That's been in the same system will come out and be ready to go and start a little bit faster. But these slow starts don't help you, especially in your division. If you're not ready for these first 2 games, you, like Pat said, you in the bottom already. And it's a long climb to climb back up. Looking at the matchups, though, let's take a look at the matchups, because I really want to break this down, man. Y'all know how we do this Giants conversation. We're going to give you the full deal here. Appreciate y'all in the chat. Coach Jay Ferries, appreciate you. Who has the advantage? I'm going to go offense, defense, special teams. That's how I'm going to break this down. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching. Got coach in the chat. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, and then we'll give our determination. Who has the advantage on offense? Giants offense versus the Commanders offense. I'm going to turn it over to you, my man.
All right, Giants offense versus the Commanders defense. I'll have to go advantage us, in all honesty, if Kafka is calling the plays. If Kafka is calling the plays, I do believe he could get our run game going against that Washington Commanders defense. Even though they got Kinlaw to replace Allen, he is not a Allen as far as the run game. And I think our power run game can overwhelm that Commanders front seven. Their front seven is not the greatest, but it's not trash, but it's not the greatest. And I do believe Maliknabers could take advantage of that secondary, especially if we're able to get our play action going. And we do have Russell Wilson now, so I don't even like mentioning his name anymore, but I think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than what Daniel Jones was for us last season. And I do believe we'll be able to open up that playbook a little bit more as long as we're able to get that play action going. If you allow us to get the play action going, I think we could be a dangerous team with people like Fadone, Bellinger, and Theo Johnson working the middle of the field because their linebackers can't cover. That's a fact. Their linebackers can't cover at all. And believe it or not, their DB.
Well, they got Bobby Wagner. They got Frankie Louisville.
Frankie Louisville's a monster, but Bobby Wagner in coverage, no.
He fell off. Definitely
he's older now. He's not going to be able to hang with those young guns at the tight end position if he has to cover one-on-one. And if we start getting them to play zone, that's when Maliknabers will really start to eat because he's one of those receivers that can settle down in zones. And the deep speed of Slayton going against their DBs, I like our chances against them with a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson. So people are going to say I'm silly, but I actually give us the advantage on offense if Kafka is calling the plays.
I have to agree with you. I don't see this Commanders defense as being something special. And the thing is, I'm not even going to say Kafka. I'm going to say if the Giants can run the ball. Because what you got to do is, the Commanders' offense is the strength of their team. And, you know, they were one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL last year. They put up points. Jaden Daniels is a threat to throw and run. And they've added Deebo Samuels. They drafted this kid, Jalen Lane. They got some weapons over there. Of course, you still got Scary Terry. I will say, though, if the Giants can establish the running game, Maliknabers can definitely be a difference maker out there against that secondary, man. Because I'm looking at the Commanders roster. Marshawn Lattimore can't guard him. And good God, Mike Sandstrel. Nah, man. Nah. It's a problem in that secondary.
They're very opportunistic. That's what
they're gonna throw, but if you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, hopefully you would think he would try to keep the ball out of harm's way. Now, if they got Jameis Winston in there, they're gonna have a field day. I'm gonna tell you right now, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the kind of team defense, like you said, an opportunistic defense. They don't have a whole bunch of talent across the board, but they can make plays. That's what Pat's talking about. And if you allow them to make easy plays by putting the ball in harm's way, then you're taking away your advantage completely. But if the Giants can control the football, control the clock, running the football, I think they can have a big advantage. Now let's take it over to the Commanders offense versus the Giants defense. This is going to be the key matchup for me because, you know, that's strength on strength here. So who do you think has the advantage there, Pat?
Well, obviously, the Commanders will have the advantage on the offensive side of the ball because of the guy aforementioned, Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league for years. And I do believe he could be an MVP candidate if they continue to build around him. The thing that we're going to have to watch out for, even though I give them an advantage, I do believe the Giants can overthrow their offense. We're going to have to play gap control against the Washington Commanders. You're going to have to play gap control because their offense is dynamic where you allow Jaden Daniels to dictate what he wants to do to you as far as getting in and out of the pocket, getting outside of the pocket, making plays on 3rd and 8s, getting 14-yard, 15-yard, 25-yard runs. If you play gap control and make him play the quarterback position the traditional way, I think you got a very good chance. And that's not a slight at Jaden Daniels say he can't do it, because he can. But I'd rather him beat me that way than just using his athleticism to make you go make you look stupid out there. Do I like my DBs against their receivers? Yes, I do. I like Deontay Banks and Paulson Adebo against Terry McLaurin and what's the other guy? De'Ame Brown and Debo Samuel. The thing we're gonna have to watch for is that tight end position. We can't allow Zach Ertz to continue to move the chains for them because that's where they look to if you keep them in the pocket. Are you going to allow Zach Ertz to go over the middle of the field to get those?
They got two of the Giants tight ends on their roster too. Lawrence Cager and Tyree Jackson, both ex-Giants. So,
are you gonna allow them to continue to move the chains and just dink and dunk you down the field and then hit you over the top with Terry McLaurin when you're coming up? And the main thing, we got to hold Brian Robinson less than 60 yards. Because if you start allowing Brian Robinson to start running and gashing you, they can do so much on offense, man. They can use Jaden Daniels' legs and quarterback runs from the line of scrimmage to everything. Contain the run game and do not let Zach Ertz destroy the center of your field, allowing him to move the chains. And we got a chance at play gap control. And we got the pieces to do that. Brian Burns, Abdul-Carter, and Thibodeau can play great gap control. You know what I'm saying? So that's
special teams. Advantage who? I'm just gonna throw out the kickers and the punters. Matt Gay, kicker. Trace Way. Looks like he's the punter. And they have Luke McCaffrey on kick returns and punt returns.
I give special teams to us, bro. We signed so many guys on special teams that are special teams aces and covered. We should be able to cover on special teams this year. And if Graham Gano stays healthy, he's one of the better kickers in the league. I give him that. And the what is called the Scottish Hammer or whatever we call him, our punter, he actually did very well last season. Almost made a Pro Bowl, so I give the advantage to us.
Coaching, last one. Then we're gonna go on to the Cowboys.
Commanders coaching, Dan Quinn. He has a control over that team. He's got this team into the NFC Championship. They believe in him. They play with him, and he's built the culture over there with the Washington Commanders. It's definitely Dan Quinn, and I don't think anybody can deny that.
I totally agree with you. Dan Quinn, better coach than Brian Dable. Cliff Kingsbury versus Kafka. You can talk about that. You could talk about I forget who their D coordinator is versus Shane Bourne, but I think Shane Bourne is at the bottom of the league, bro. To be honest with you, as from defense, hate to say that. Hopefully, the Giants' talent can really show up because I just don't think he's a very good coordinator, to be honest with you. All right, W or F? We're gonna do this. Week 1.
W.
I went back and forth with this because I looked at last year. Commanders swept the Giants last year. I don't think these teams is really that far apart.
Me either.
I'm going to go with a surprise victory here at the beginning of the season because I think the Commanders have to kind of show up, you know. When some of these teams are a little overhyped coming into the beginning of the season, they can easily get punched in the mouth game 1. You know, everybody's going to pick them to win. Everybody's going to pick them to be to the top of the division. That's a lot of pressure. Second-year player, second-year quarterback. The Giants, again, you guys have continuity. You're bringing your whole staff back. You should be able to get off to a fast start this year. I mean, I don't understand it. You know, have the guys prepared and ready to go week 1, Brian Dable. And I think Russell Wilson can play ball control offense. Hopefully the Giants will run the ball, and I think they can score enough points. And the defense is a lot better than it was last year, and I think they can at least contain Jaden Daniels. I'm going to give the Giants always play Washington tough, regardless of how far they are in talent, and vice versa. I'm gonna get the Giants a dub here. I don't think the Commanders are 3 wins in a row better than the New York Giants.
Yeah.
So Dallas Cowboys. Week 2 at Dallas again. Schedule makers ain't do the boys no favors. That has been a house of horrors in recent years, ever since the departing of Eli Manning, who actually won there, actually did pretty good in Jerry's well. But since he left, it's been bad.
Yeah, it's been awful.
So coming up here with the Cowboys, of course, Dallas making moves, went out and got your boy George Pickens, drafted Tyler Booker, got Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue in the backfield, and Miles Sanders. Okay.
Yeah.
They've been working on their offensive line. Like I said, they drafted Tyler Booker. They got BB Smith. They got 3 Tylers, Terrence Steele and Cooper BB. Of course, you got Dak Prescott coming back from injury. Defense-wise, Diggs still there. Overshown, Parson, Odigizua, Mozzie Smith, Dante Fowler Jr. On the back end, it's not as strong. It's pretty good on the back. Malik Hook is good. Wilson, they got Bland and Diggs. Cowboys defense is solid in my opinion. The question for me is on the offensive end with Dallas is, can they get back to running the football like they used to be? And, that offensive line, is it going to be good enough, to get them where they need to go? And of course, Dak Prescott coming back from injury, how will he look? Guy's been hurt a lot in his career. How do you see this matchup? Let's start. Cowboys offense versus the Giants offense. Who has the advantage?
Cowboys offense versus our defense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, start there.
I actually have to give the advantage to us. To be honest with you, I know they got George Pickens out there. That is very cool. But I don't think they can establish the run game against us. I think people are going to be really surprised with our defense, how good we are against the run this season. And if they can't establish that run and we make them one-dimensional, we can take advantage of Dak Prescott, who's not nowhere near as mobile as he used to be. And who's that third receiver? I think we got DBs that can match up with them. And I'm actually kind of confident.
Jalen Tolbert would be their third guy.
Exactly. I'm actually kind of confident of Drew Phillips playing that slot when CeeDee Lamb goes into the slot. And I'm actually kind of confident against also Debo against George Pickens because they're both very physical. And George Pickens can go off the rails on that team because their culture allows their players to do whatever they want and show their attitudes and everything. And I think that could be very combustible. But if we stop that run, I don't see why we can't, play very well against the Cowboys. We did it last season in that very first game. And I think Abdul-Carter could be a game breaker in there. I'm just being honest with you. You can call me a homer if you want to, Jay Ferris. I'm just giving you an honest evaluation.
And I mean, that's fair. That's fair. When I'm looking at this Cowboys offense, I have to agree with Pat because, and it's not about being a homer because I am not a homer. I'm not as optimistic about the New York Giants as some people here on the network are. But the thing here, just specifically looking at the offense versus the Giants defense, is the Giants, they're going to do well against less mobile quarterbacks because they don't have that. They can pin their ears back. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have to play contain on the quarterback, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So when you got Jaden Daniels, and the hardest thing this defense is gonna have to do is defend the RPO. And that's because you gotta be disciplined. You gotta hold that edge. You can't, and then Jaden Daniels and Hurts, that's their game. Dak Prescott don't play like that. I think the style of team that the Giants have built, which it looks like they're trying to get back to the days where they had, where they can bring in those wave of pass rushers and just get after the quarterback. That's predicated on you getting a team in third and long situations. If you got teams that run the ball well, like the Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles, you know what I mean? Getting third and short, you got to really play that run. You got to be stout against that run the whole game. I think a team like Dallas allows you to get your pass rush going, with Dak Prescott, because if you could stop them on first and second downs when they trying to run the ball, you get them in third and longs, you can eat, definitely. I give that advantage to the Giants as well. Now let's flip it over to the Dallas defense versus the Giants offense versus the Dallas defense, and who do you have as the advantage here? Who has the advantage here?
I have to give the advantage to the Cowboys until we prove otherwise. For some reason, we continue to run straight at the Cowboys, and that is the strength of their run defense. If you run straight at them, you know what I'm saying? We're like the only team in the division that doesn't get it. With the Cowboys, you run to the outside, you make Micah Parsons work. We never make Micah Parsons work, and we allow him to dictate what we do on offense. And that's even in when we played them in 2022. We do the same thing, so I have to give that advantage to the Cowboys until proven otherwise. I do think we have some things that we can expose the Cowboys, but if we don't call those plays to where we can get maliknabers in the middle of the field against a zone, but we just allow the Cowboys just to dictate what we do with their defensive line, we're going to continue to struggle to put up points against the Cowboys. That's just a fact. That's just a fact.
I'm with you. Definitely Cowboys have the advantage here. Just you gotta understand this Giants team, offensive wise, you got a new quarterback.
Yep.
Everybody talking about the quarterback. The Cowboys is one of those teams that I don't like Russell Wilson facing, because they are opportunistic and they can get after the passer with Parsons and Overshown and the boys over there, Mozzie Smith, Digizua. So I don't really like the defense versus the Giants offense matchup. One of those things where I just feel like there's going to be some turnovers. There's going to be some turnovers, and that's what Dallas eats off of. If you watch the Cowboys, we play close attention to the division over here, and call a lot of Cowboys games. And if you watch that team feeds off a lead. They feed off of mistakes. They're not a very disciplined team, but if you play undisciplined against them, they will eat. So the Giants under Brian Daboll have been one of the undisciplined. They're not disciplined at all. They make a lot, and I don't know if it's going to change. We would have to base that, off of week one, and in season, we'll give our in season predictions outside of this. This is just a rough draft, as you say, overlook to the season until we get some more information. But looking at it right now, I got to agree with Pat, bro. I got to agree with my bro. It's got to be Dallas. Special teams wise, of course, they got Aubrey, the kicker. They got Brian Anger, pretty good punter. And of course, your boy Turpin, returning kicks, Pro Bowl kick returner. Who has the advantage on special teams?
No, it's the Cowboys. Most definitely. They got the best kick return in the game, one of the best kickers in the game, and they have one of the best special teams in the game. You got to get that to the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's nothing else to be said on that. For me, all
Agreed.
Cowboys on that.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I'm not gonna sit down here and break down special teams.
Right.
I just want to give a broad advantage or disadvantage. Coaching, here's the big one. You got Schottenheimer over there with the Cowboys, new coach, new head coach. You know, he's obviously been with the team for a while. And of course, Dable. You know, Brian Dable. A lot of questions. You know, within the fan base about Brian Dable. Everyone outside the fan base seems to think he's a fucking genius, but I don't know. Still waiting to see it. Who has the advantage though? Schottenheimer is a new coach, so
This one's a tough one for me because we both have very bad deficiencies when it comes to coaching over the past couple of years. I'm just going to give it to the Giants based off default because Dallas Cowboys coach is really based off what Jerry Jones wants. And Schottenheimer, I don't even think he's a good coach. You know what I'm saying? And then it can be very combustible with those players because, like I said, that the players really determine that roster. So I'll give it to the Giants.
And
it's just
for clarity, the offensive coordinator is Clayton Adams, and the DC is Matt Eberflus. Remember the old Bears head coach. So I just want you guys to know they're OC and DC too, so we can kind of group it because when it's close, it may come down to the OC or the DC. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Giants, man, because they've been together for years, and that Dallas Cowboys coaching staff, you don't know what type of coach is going to be over there with the Cowboys this season, and they got a lot of combustible players over there. I'm just going to keep it honest with you, and it's their main players that are combustible, so that's even worse. So I just think down the stretch, if it came to down the stretch, I think the Giants could pull it out with their coaching based on the Cowboys coaching, but it's really going to be who's disciplined. That's it in this game. Who's going to be disciplined?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I got to give it to the bum, as the coach used to call him.
Yeah.
Just based off continuity alone, and Dallas just never seem to really have an advantage coaching ever. I mean, even when they had McCarthy, I mean, I thought it was kind of a wash when him and Dable was at each other. You know, it's just it's not a very good coach over there, and it's because, like you said, Jerry Jones doesn't really allow them to get the coach that they need because he wants to control everything. All right, win or loss? What are we doing here? Win or loss?
I'm gonna give it an L, man. We haven't won a Jerry's World for a long time, and for some odd reason, we always allow the Cowboys to out-talent us because that's what they do. They just out-talent you. And even though they have lesser talent this year, I still, for some reason, I just think we're gonna lose this game to Dallas in week 2. I just do. Hopefully they surprise me and not do what they normally do, an offsides penalty here or there, or a false start, or a legal man downfield when we get a good play and we got to bring it back. It's always some ignorant against the Cowboys, a drop pass when we should get a catch, you know. Hopefully we can break out of that this season, but until proven otherwise, I gotta give them an L here. I just do.
Yeah, it's an L. We're on the same page so far, Pat. Man, like you said, prove it. Proves you can beat Dallas in Jerry's World. You know, with the Commanders game, the Giants have showed you they can beat Washington. They should have beat them last year. So, but with this game here, nah, and I don't see them winning 2 games in a row. They're more likely to lose both of these games than win both of them. So I'm giving them a dub in game 1. I'm gonna definitely give them an L here, and you know, I hope that's not the case because I can't stand the Cowboys. I would love for them to come crashing and burning at the hands of the New York Giants, but until we see it, we can't believe it because I've been burnt before, you know, giving these bold predictions with the New York Giants and not doing that this year. So it's an L. It's an L. Let's move on. Kansas City Chiefs, week 3 versus the Chiefs. Golly. Talk about a rough stretch. Okay. offense. Giants offense versus the Chiefs defense. Advantage who?
Giants offense versus the Chiefs defense. Give it to the Chiefs. Steve Spagnuolo, very great defensive coordinator. I think his defensive mind is way better than our head coach's offensive mind, especially if he's going to be calling the plays. That defense has always showed up. They showed up last year. It was the only reason why they was in the Super Bowl last year when the offense was struggling. You got to give that to the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they drafted Omar Norman Lott too. I mean, yeah, I'm Chiefs, man. The Chiefs defense is very underrated. You know, a lot of people they looking at Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid and the great offense that they have, but this defense has been rock solid year in and year out for the Chiefs. And Steve Spagnuolo that's the blueprint, you know, for what the Giants are trying to build right now with these pass rushes and this, you know, new NASCAR, as everybody calling it. But that's yeah, bro. Karlaftis. You know, they got what's my man, Chris Jones. You know, that is a Dexter Lawrence equal. So they got everything you got, and their linebackers are very, very good. Linebacker core is good, which means it's probably going to be hard to run the football on them.
Yep.
And so yeah, I'm with you. Chiefs offense, Giants defense. We all know the pieces of the Chiefs to the Chiefs offense. They did draft Jalen Royals to add to that group. Of course, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Smith Schuster, and Sky Moore already on there. Still got Pacheco. And of course, Pat Mahomes and Kelsey still there. Who you give the advantage to?
Oh, this is obvious too. The Kansas City Chiefs offense is, you got to give them the heads up against the Giants defense, but it's not as overbearing as you think. One reason why I do believe we can stop their run game, and the Chiefs are based off quick passing. Drew Phillips can have a hell of a game against the Chiefs. I'm gonna be honest with you. That kid, he's legit, man. Watching the film on him last year, he's legit. He's tough. He's very physical. And if we can get physical with those guys and start coming up and start making those plays on those quick screen passes that they run, and stop their run game and start making them one-dimensional and have to attack us deep down the field. They don't have deep down the field receivers that can attack you like that.
Coach, you crazy.
Right, Coach crazy as hell. I seen that. And to be honest with you, Rashee Rice is nice, but I think we had a DBs that can match up with them. I'm just gonna give the nod to the Kansas City Chiefs because of Andy Reid. I think he'll find the adjustment, he'll find the weakness in this defense, and they're gonna catch us in some blitzes and here and there and start attacking us down the field somehow, some way. But I do believe it's not as bad as what people will make it out to be.
Yeah, of course. Chiefs got Pacheco, and do they still got? Is Kareem Hunt still there? I guess so. Kareem Hunt, and then they got Elijah Mitchell, who's pretty good running back too from San Francisco. So they got the pieces to run the ball. Still got that fullback Carson Steele to open up some lanes there. The Chiefs solid on the offensive line. I definitely give the advantage to the Chiefs. And I don't even think we need to talk about coaching, to be honest with you, because Andy Reid and Spagnuolo versus
that's
Brian Dable and Shane Bowen, you know, is null and void there.
Right. There's nothing to even say about that.
Harrison Butker is a good kicker. I don't know about their kick return game with who's this Nico Remingio. And then they got Matt Ariza as the punter. Special teams. I mean, one way or the other, if you had to pick, who you got?
No, special team, you got to go with the Chiefs. You gotta go with the Chiefs.
Looks like it's a clean sweep. So I'm giving the dub to the Chiefs here. I don't think there's much to talk about. Now, here's the thing, though. I do remember the last time the Giants played the Chiefs, and this was the very, very bad Giants team. I think in 2021. It was close.
Should have beat them.
It was close. So I don't expect the Chiefs to go in there and just run roughshod over the Giants. But if the game is close, let's keep it a buck. This Giants conversation, I'm on Popular Opinion Sports, goddamn. I'm gonna say what's the fuck's on my mind. If it's close, the ref's gonna get the Chiefs the game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. So this is an L. So even if you competing against them, they still gonna win this game.
Yeah, and it's on prime time, so we don't play very well on prime time either.
No.
So hopefully the primetime woes was all on Daniel Jones, and it'll make it a lot better for this team. But primetime, are we in Kansas City or no? That's at MetLife.
It's in MetLife, but I don't care if it's in Brazil. It's Chiefs still.
I got the Chiefs winning this game, but it might not be as bad as you think. And if it's a close game, I don't know. We might be able to pull it out if the refs, call it fairly.
Coach says if you can get to Mahomes and rattle him, maybe forcing a defensive touchdown, you can change the the temperature of the. So again, I gotta go with it here. All right, man. Chargers. They get the Chargers at home, back-to-back home games for the New York Giants, of course. The Chargers with your man's Herbert over there with Harbaugh. Now they brought back Mike Williams, drafted Trey Harris. Of course, they got Lad McConkey there, Quentin Johnson. They signed Mekhi Becton to help on the offensive line there. Of course, J. Alt, Rashawn Slater, Chargers, very good offensive line. Herbert there, first draft pick. They got Amarian Hampton, running back now, to go with Najee Harris. Hell of a 1-2 punch.
Yes, it is.
So let's start there. Chargers offense versus the Giants defense. And then I'll run down the Chargers defense too. So who got the advantage here?
I'm only going to give the advantage to the Giants because I think the Chargers are really going to try to establish the run game. And if we stop the Chargers' run game, I think our secondary can handle their receivers. Trey Harris is only a rookie. Johnston is a non-factor. Yeah, I'm going to give the advantage to the Giants here, man. I think we can get after Herbert and make him make a mistake.
Yes, Iman, Hampton, and Harris in the backfield.
Yeah, we stop that run game, which I think we can. We'll be okay because that's how Harbaugh runs his team. You stop Jim Harbaugh. You stop his run game, they're gonna have a tough time beating you.
I'm gonna disagree with you here. I think the teams that run the football well, the Giants are gonna have problems with, because the way their team is built to eat off of teams that like to pass the ball, because we have a great pass rush trio, or quadruplet if you want to throw Kayvon in there as well. So man, Hampton and Harris with the offensive line, that the Chargers offensive line is very good too. And they're built to move people, to run the ball. Harbaugh has Herbert playing well. He's not doing the dumb stuff that he was doing before. I don't think you're going to get into a fourth quarter game and get a pick six or some crazy shit like before. I think they're able to control the clock. And we'll get into some of these other matchups too, but I think Chargers have the advantage on offense, man. And,
here's where I disagree with you on about the run game. People forget we got other players now. Chauncey Golston is no slouch against the run.
Those players have to prove it, though, Pat.
He's proven it over there with Dallas. He was their best run defender. He's proven it. That's why he got paid based on his run defense. Sears Anderson has proven that. That's what he does best, run defense. That's what he was brought here for. We don't have those same guys out there like Nacho on them that's gonna be, getting bullied. And then Dex, you know what Dex brings. And I'm telling you, that Abdul-Carter pickup makes a lot of when it comes to running sideline to sideline. I think we're going to be very good against the run this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got Darius Alexander as well. Mm-hmm. I think those guys are going to do pretty well. Not saying they're going to be 86 Bears, but I think those dudes are going to be pretty well, and people are going to be excited what they see, man. I will give the Giants that.
I hope you're right, but the Chargers were one of the top rushing teams in the NFL. I think strength versus our strength. Again, you're putting a new group together, bro. Brand new group. And a lot of the players that you're talking about are players that wasn't here last year. So we haven't seen them perform with the New York Giants. The players that were here that are returning, they wasn't very good against the run. Dexter Lawrence, obviously, but he was hurt last year. So I have to, like Iman, I gotta prove it. Believe it when I see it. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. The Giants offense versus the Chargers defense. Chargers, notable names, obviously Khalil, Matt, Derwin James, not a whole lot of notable names. Deshaun Hand, Tahir Tart, Aito Bania, Tului Talapatulo, Diane Henley, Junior Colson, and then they got Dante Jackson, Cam Hart. I remember him from Notre Dame. And Aloha Gilman, free safety, and Tarheeb Steele, nickelback. So they also picked up Cal Kennard, and they still got Denzel Perryman and Bud Dupree. Advantage, Chargers defense or Giants offense, Pat?
Giants offense. I think Malik.
Yeah, Ghost. I don't know who these dudes are, man. I'm sorry, I was struggling with those names.
I think Maliknabers is going to eat in this game, and as long as we don't become one-dimensional, we should be at least put up 24 points against their defense. The way our talent is on offense, and if we get that power game going with Cam Scott, I actually think this might be Scatterbo's, best game early into his career. We run that power run game against them because they're actually pretty good when you try to run to the outsides, because Khalil Mack is an absolute beast. Like, he stops the run and gets after the passer. So if we can make it to where we can punish those defensive tackles and move those chains and keep ourselves in short yardage situations, we should be pretty good against them. And I know Russell Wilson is not going to turn over the ball like that. So I actually give the advantage to us going against their defense. And Derwin James is not as great as people making him out to be, bro. And he stays hurt too much.
Yeah, those guys are getting old. Yeah,
he's a liability in coverage for real.
Khalil Mack, some of these guys, and I don't know some of these other cats, man. I'm with Ghost. I don't know who these dudes are in the secondary for the Chargers. So I'm gonna give the advantage to the Giants here. I don't see much to be worried about on this defense, to be honest with you, with the Chargers, other than Khalil Mack. I'm probably sleeping on a lot of these dudes. I just don't know them that well.
There's some decent players,
they're
but they
solid, but they're not. Yeah, they definitely gonna have to get the Giants one-dimensional. Hopefully, we won't be one-dimensional. Now that they're hoping they have some type of passing game to go along with Tyrone Tracy and Scatterbo bring. Yeah, I'm gonna go advantage Giants. So Special teams, Chargers, punter, J.K. Scott, place kicker, pretty good one. Cameron Dicker, Darius Davis, and Lad McConkey
ECU
are their kick and punt returners.
Advantage Chargers. Enough said.
So yeah, I like Harbaugh too. You know, Harbaugh always has a team's discipline. You know, on special teams. So I'm gonna give the advantage the Chargers to coaching.
Advantage Chargers. Nothing else to be said.
Greg Roman, Jesse Minter, Jim Harbaugh. Yeah. Advantage Chargers. Prediction.
I'll give us a hard fought win in this game. It's gonna come down to the end of the game, and Herbert's gonna do Herbert things. We're gonna force him to be doing Herbert things. I give us a hard fought win, like a 23-20 type game, 24-21, somewhere around that range, 21-20, something like that. I'll give us a hard fought win in that game. I think we can pull that one out. Especially they gotta come over here to MetLife. I give them a hard fought win in that one, for sure.
It's gonna be a close game. If it's close, again, you know what I say. Advantage to the coach. Chargers win this game. I think it will be close. I don't think this is one of those things where the Giants. I do think the Giants are going to be competitive, y'all. Let me just start by saying that. Y'all probably going to be, dang, it's going to pick every team to beat them. No, I think they're going to be competitive, but some of these teams that are veteran teams that have good head coaches. You know, Brian Dable has a lot to prove, y'all. 2 shitty ass seasons where he basically tanked the team. You can't give me good graces back with this dude, man, just because they drafted a quarterback. You know, so I gotta see it to believe it. You know, if he hands over play calling, I may be more optimistic. But from what I've seen, if it comes down, if it's close, I'm gonna give the advantage to the better coach. And I think everything given, when you look at both rosters, I got the rosters pulled up here too. So I'm looking at the rosters as we doing this show. I got to give the advantage to the coach. So I'm gonna give the advantage to the Chargers here until Brian Dable can prove otherwise. Pat's got him at 2-2 right now. I got the Giants at 1-3. We're gonna go to the Saints game, Week 5 at New Orleans. The Saints, man. Ooh, boy, Saints.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna give you a quick analysis on this one. Advantage Giants all the way across the board. They lose this game, Dable needs to be almost fired. If they lose this game, I think the Saints are going to be a mess, especially if Tyler Shough is playing. I just think we got the advantage across the board against them, and I think we get a dub.
Now, hold up. Because the Saints aren't a great team, mainly because of their quarterback. But they got some pretty good weapons. They got Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, of course, Brandon Cooks, Rashid Shaheed is nice. Their offensive line, they got Talise Fuanga, Cesar Ruiz over there, Dylan Redunce, Kelvin Banks. So not a total disaster. They still got the tight ends, Foster Monroe, Jawan Johnson, and Taysom Hill. And they drafted Devin Neal to go along with Alvin Kamara and Keandre Miller. Got Fat Boy Hilaire over there too, as Pat likes to call him. I'm not gonna dismiss the Saints offense at all, but here's why I'm gonna give the advantage to the defense. Because remember how I'm setting this up, the way I'm looking at this team. The matchup versus their quarterback you can easily make this team one-dimensional and put the ball in highly stuff temporary hands, and that is going to definitely tilt the game in the Giants' advantage. Um, I think they can do that. Alvin Kamara still has it. Trust me, he still does. But if you key in on that and shut down that running game, I think the Giants are going to have a field day with that pass rush. So that advantage, I'm going to lean Giants. Now with the Saints defense, who is not a bad defense, but you have to wonder, can that defense survive being on the field all game if that Saints offense isn't doing anything over there? So you got Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Demario Davis. You got Danny Stutzman, Cameron Jordan still over there. In the secondary, of course, you got Kool-Aid McKinstry, Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, Isaac Yiadom still in the league playing, former Giant. Defensive wise, again, I think the Saints could have the advantage here if their offense was to do anything. Because it's not like this Giants offense has proven anything either. So, you're looking at this matchup. I like the Saints in the secondary. I don't like them much elsewhere. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Giants just based off of who I think is the X factor for the Giants this year, which should be, and that's maliknabers. I don't know who's matching up with maliknabers over there.
I'm telling you.
And he's going to set the tone in a game like this. In that dome, you can get some air yards going. Special teams, Matthew Hayball and Blake Grupp. Rashid Shaheed is nice. Kick returning. Might give the Saints the advantage there. Don't know much about their kicker or punter. But this game, the Giants got to win this game, bottom line.
Yeah, they got to win this game.
This should be a dub. Even though it's in New Orleans is a tough place to play. And most seasons, I got the Giants winning. Pat, you said you got the Giants winning. We're going to leave it at that because I think the Saints going for the number one. I think they in that Arch Manning hunt.
I'm telling you, bro.
For real. We talked about it, what I'm saying, but
I'm telling
you. All right.
Win this game, somebody should be on the verge of getting fired.
Yeah.
I'm just keep it real with you.
Week 6, they come back home to Philadelphia. Okay. The Giants, I'm just going to say, do they have an advantage in this game?
No.
Let me just put it like that.
We have no advantage
on any side of the ball.
Nope.
Not even
no advantage.
Teams.
Nope.
What about coaching?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
When you're looking at this Eagles team, first let's start with the Eagles offense versus the Giants defense. Like I said, y'all, this ain't a good matchup.
No, it's
not. Just ain't. It ain't because you can't do anything with your pass rush, which the Giants have built as the strength for this team. And again, I like that. I like the fact that they went in the direction finally. But you built that strength for your team on defense to be your pass rush pretty much, and this game don't help you with that because the Eagles run the ball better than anybody in the league. They have, your guy, Barkley, over there now. Hurts with the tush push. You can't stop it. They didn't ban it. So I don't know what you do here with Philadelphia. If you want to make them one-dimensional, good luck because they can still heave it up there to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. It's a problem.
The
I don't know
absolute
why the
problem.
NFL let them build this fucking team like it is, but they did, and it's gonna be hard to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, y'all. I'm just gonna say it.
Then it's on a short week too.
Yeah.
Smoked.
No favors here for the New York Giants. And if I was to give the Giants a smidget of an advantage, you might be able to get maliknabers open in their secondary. I know they got Mitchell, Ringo, secondary Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown. They don't scare me. So if you can get maliknabers or maybe one of them tight ends open down the field, you might be able to get something. The problem is, are you going to have time to do that? Because the offensive line ain't really built to deal with Philadelphia's power when you got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Ojomo there, and they drafted Ty Robinson.
That's crazy too.
And so, and then when you get to the second level, you got Zach Bond and Kobe Dean waiting for you. You're gonna have to beat them, passing the ball. Because I don't know if you're gonna be able to run on them at all. And that's the problem. Russell Wilson. That's why the Eagles have such a problem with the Chiefs. First of all, the Chiefs, outside of the Super Bowl, they usually play the Eagles well because, they can somewhat get the running game going. But I don't know if the Giants can do that in this game. We shall see. All things considered, I'm giving this one an L.
Yeah. L.
I don't see that. I don't see an advantage here for the Giants. Y'all in the chat tell me. I see y'all in the chat. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Go says we get clapped.
Yeah, I don't see.
Giants let them build their team like that. They was true. Part of it. Says we got to get our beating in front out of the nation. I will say this. Speaking of getting out up front, if you somehow get a lead on them, I think you will good money because they not. I don't think the Eagles are going to be trying to throw their way back in football games. So
that's a fact.
That is a way to beat them. Maybe you can get a turnover, get a 14-0 lead on them somehow, and play ball control offense from there on out, and hope your defense. They got him too, Iman. So.
Yeah,
all right.
I think you got to get 17 to 20 point lead on them to stop them from running the ball, to be honest with you.
That's true. I mean, yeah.
They can run that ball, man. It's like Tecmo Bowl with that team, bro.
Yeah,
that
man.
Ball out to Barkley. Sometimes that's better than pass play.
Week 7, after getting their asses stomped by Philly, they got to go to Denver. Ooh, they ain't do these boys no favors.
No favors.
You got to come back to Philly. Good God. Denver Broncos, man. Denver Broncos, of course. A lot of good vibes over there in Denver. With the great rookie campaign of your man's Bo Nix. Let's get into this Denver Broncos matchup here a little bit now. Looking at the Denver offense versus the Giants defense. Now, they got Courtland Sutton, who's a very, very good receiver. Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin from last year came in with Bo Nix, his teammate. They got your man's Pat Bryant, who they drafted. Offensive line is pretty good. They did add to their offense by signing Evan Ingram, your boy Evan Ingram. Running backs, they got RJ Harvey, Ardrick Estime, and Jalen McCollin. And of course, you know, they got Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham backing him up. Offense for the Broncos versus the Giants defense. Pat, who you got the advantage?
I actually got the Giants with the advantage there. I actually do.
Let's talk about
that running game. I'm not scared of the running game with the Broncos, and I do believe you could get Bo Nix to make some mistakes when you get pressure against him. I actually give us a little bit of advantage on the defensive side of the ball against the Broncos. They're going to play like the Chargers a little bit, but I don't think their run game be nowhere near as strong as what the Chargers run game will be. And I think that gives us the advantage in that game for sure.
Yeah, I have to say, I think you're right. I'm gonna give the advantage to the Giants here. I just think, again, this is a matchup. You can make Bo Nix dimensional. He is a younger quarterback. He's probably never seen a rush that the Giants are going to be bringing at him. They don't got no dominating pass rushes in the AFC West. I mean, Chiefs got a good one. The Raiders got Crosby, but it's nothing like you're about to get over here. And it's gonna be a wake up call for your boy Bo. And I think the Giants got an advantage here in this matchup, particularly because now their offensive line's good. Mike McGlinchey, Garrett Bowles. Where you can win is on the interior. They got Ben Powers, but they got Quinn Meinertz and Luke Wattenberg, the center. I don't think any of them are fooling with Dexter Lawrence and the Giants' interior guys. So that's your advantage right there, New York Giants. I'm with you on that. Defense. Defense with the Chargers. They got John Franklin Myers, DJ Jones, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen over there on the front line, Jordan Jackson, Jonah Elias, Malcolm Roach. Linebackers, they got Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, Nick Bonito. And of course, in the secondary, they got PS2, Jahade Barron, Talano Hufanga, who they signed from San Francisco, and Brandon Jones and Riley Moss. Now, Giants offense, Broncos defense. Advantage who?
Broncos defense for sure. That Broncos defense is legit, man. They got corners, they got safeties, they got defensive line, they got linebackers. Man, they just got the guy Greenlaw from the 49ers, who was advantage Denver. That's for sure. That's going to be a very ugly game, man. Ugly game.
I'm with you. Denver's got the advantage here. The defense is legit. This defense is legit. Their D coordinator is Vance Joseph, one of the better D coordinators in the league. So I'm with you there. Advantage to the Broncos. And I'm going to give the coaching advantage to the Broncos as well. I just mentioned Vance Joseph. They do have Joe Lombardi, their OC. And, of course, one Sean Payton for the head coach. Who you got? Who you got?
My heart is telling me to pick the Giants because I want them to be competitive, but I just think they're going to take an L. It's going to be a hard-fought game, but it's going to be an L.
L's are piling up, man. I'm with you. Another L. Coach put a good point out, too, that altitude will be a factor playing in Denver. Denver is one of those places you do not want to play, and you do not want to travel to play them either, not from like a long distance because of the altitude. I've been out on the West Coast. Jet lag is real, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
They do get a little extra time to prepare for them because that was a Thursday night game. But
they do.
I just
but
think
I don't think it's L. I don't think it's gonna matter. Then you come back to Philly. We just previewed this.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to change in 2 weeks.
Facts.
That's another L for me. L's are piling up for the Giants, man. L's are piling up for the Giants right now. I got them at 3. No, I got them at 2 and 6.
I got them at 3 and 5.
Yeah, you got them at 3 and 5. All right. Week 9. They come home to San Francisco 49ers. Pat, San Francisco went through a lot of changes. But the more things change, the more things remain the same, as I like to say, because they still got Brock Purdy, they still got Christian McCaffrey, still got Cal Juszczyk, they still got Trent Williams, still got Brandon Ayuk. Now they went through some changes, still got George Kittle. 49ers offense versus the Giants defense.
I get advantage to the Giants defense.
Why?
Point blank period. Their offensive line has gotten weaker. Christian McCaffrey, you don't even know if he's going to be healthy by this time. Let's keep it a buck. Brock Purdy is cool, but he's not worth $53 million a year. And who knows if Ayuk is going to be the same, but I just think this team got a whole lot weaker from previous years. And I think that window is officially closed on the 49ers. I do.
I think the 49ers demise is a bit overrated. Shout out to the chat, man. Yeah, they still got Kyle Shanahan. CMC, I don't know. His health is, but again, they got the kid Isaac Garando. So we'll see, man. We'll see, but I think this comes down to Christian McCaffrey, to be honest with you. Because I see this the matchups. They got Jawan Jennings, Ricky Purcell, Brandon Ayuk. Actually got Isaiah Hodgins over there.
They got Jawan Jennings.
They got DeMarcus Robinson, who they got from the Rams. It's not a bad group, but I think the Giants secondary matches up well with this group. Now, the problem is, like you said, their offensive line not being the same. So I don't know how effective they're going to be running the ball, because if this was the old 49ers and they was running that ball like that, the advantage definitely going to be 49ers. So for the sake of me not knowing what they're going to look like, this one is tough. I think they're still going to be a pretty decent team. I think a lot of people are overblowing this thing with the San Francisco 49ers. I give the advantage to Giants just on the defensive, because Brock Purdy, again, if you make a one-dimensional, you can he gonna be cooked. He's not no dude that's gonna go out there and put up a whole bunch of passing yards while you're one-dimensional and you can't run the football. I'm gonna give the advantage to the Giants just on that side of the ball. Going over to the defense, they still got Nick Bosa, still got Fred Warner. Now, everything else is a little bit different. Now in the secondary, they got Trey Brown, they got Demondori Lenore.
Yeah, Lenore's good.
They got Malik Mustafa.
He got hurt. He just tore his
And
Achilles.
Jair Brown. Second, on the line, they got Bosa, of course, Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens. They drafted Alfred Collins. They got Yerta Gross Matos and Mikhail Williams, who they drafted. Defense versus the Giants offense. Who you got?
I actually think it's a wash, but
they got Pinnock too. Jason Pinnock, he's on there.
I actually have to give it to the 49ers until proven otherwise. It's just something about this offense I think that's going to be a little off. Unless Kafka is calling the plays. But I'll get a 49ers that. They still got some talent on defense, even though the person they thought that was going to replace Hufanga just tore his Achilles in practice. So
okay.
I'll give it to the 49ers just based off that's what the 49ers were built off of, was defense. So
yeah, I'm gonna give it to the 49ers too, as well. Because Giants got to prove that they can be a more than one dimension, because, if we're going to get out into a shootout, are you confident Russell Wilson can do that, So I think the Giants are going to have to lean on this running game. And if the 49ers can stop the run and, let Bosa and them start getting back there, then I think it could be a issue. San Francisco coaching.
Oh, that's no doubt that's San Francisco. No doubt.
Got Rob Saleh, D coordinator over there too. I think you have to think about that as well. Yep. They got Kubiak and Kyle Shanahan. And the kicker, Jake Moody. Mitch Wienowski is the punter. And kick returning, they got Patrick Taylor Jr. and Jacob Cowing. Ricky Purcell and Isaac Granado. I'm going to give the advantage to the Giants.
49ers. Oh, you gave it to the Giants. I gave it to the 49ers. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to the Giants. But dub or F? Dub or F?
I'm giving us a dub in this game.
This was in San Francisco. I picked the 49ers, but at home, the Giants should win this game. W Giants. At Chicago, week 10. Y'all hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, man. We're going to get through this schedule, and then we're going to open up the call lines and give and when we want to hear you guys' opinion. So stay tuned here on New York Giants Conversation. We're giving you a schedule breakdown, cook up real quick. You know what I'm saying? So definitely stay tuned. Chicago Bears. Ooh, and I got something on the Bears later on the money out of pocket. So y'all stay tuned for that. Chicago Bears. Let's get into it. Who has the advantage when you look at the Chicago offense? Boy, is it loaded. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. They drafted Luther Burden the third. They got Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright on the offensive line. Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, and Joe Thuney on the inside. Of course, they drafted Colston Loveland. Got Cole Kmet still over there at tight end. They have Caleb Williams, of course, starting at the quarterback position. And running backs, they got DeAndre Smith, Roshan Johnson, and Cal Mananga. Advantage. Offense for the Bulls. the Bears or defense for the Giants. Bears offense versus Giants defense.
On paper, it looks like the Bears, but to be honest with you, I'm giving the advantage to the Giants defense. You get pressure on Caleb Williams, it's over.
Yeah, I think you homering a little bit here, bro. Bears got the advantage.
I see how the Bears play, bro.
They got the advantage. Now, will they use the advantage? That's something we could talk about. But they have it.
Said on paper, they got the advantage. But when it comes to play style, I give us the advantage. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They had a whip last year.
Yeah, that was last year. And we didn't play them last year either, did we? So, but here's what I'm telling you though. The Bears with this new OC, Ben Johnson, they expect him to get Caleb Williams right. But to me, it's not about Caleb Williams, to be honest with you. They have enough to be multi-dimensional, because you got Swift, and they drafted Kyle Manunga, who was one of my favorite running backs coming out of the draft. Your offensive line, you got much better in the interior. You got Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson. And, of course, you still got Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. Now, Keenan Allen isn't there anymore, but Luther Burden was a pretty good prospect coming out of college. You was able to get him. So I'm looking at this team, and I'm looking at the ability to be multi-dimensional, kind of like what Homeboy built with the Lions. And that offense is very tough to stop. Now, this is going to be a baby version of that. I get it, but like you said, his scheme, he was supposed to be one of the better scheme people coming into in the league right now. You even talked about that, Ben Johnson. So I'm giving an advantage to the Chicago Bears here with their offense versus the Giants defense. Still got to Shane Bourne still has a lot to prove too as a coordinator. Talent-wise, I think the Giants match up. But advantage, I'm still giving it to the Bears. So we'll agree to disagree there. No big deal. Now, defense for the Bears versus the Giants offense. Let's run down the defense for the Bears real quick. Montez Sweat, Gervin Dexter Sr., and Grady Jarrett on the line. You got Deo Odingbo, TJ Edwards, and Tremaine Edmonds as your linebackers. Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon in the backfield, and Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker at safety. You also got So who you got? Bears defense or Giants offense?
Bears defense. I think that Bears defense is going to be pretty good this year. They were good last year, but yeah, they got the corners to match up with our receivers. They got good safety play. Their defensive line can take advantage of our offensive line, especially if we're injured. They got pretty good linebackers, even though I don't think Tremaine Edmonds is very good against the run. Neither do I think TJ Edwards is very good against the run. So we're going to have to establish the run to beat the Bears. I'm just going to be honest with you. On the defensive side of the ball, we're going to have to establish the run. So I'll get an advantage to the Bears on the defensive side of the ball, for sure.
Yeah. I'm just looking at that line with Grady Jarrett, Montez Sweat, and Dexter Sr. It's pretty good. And Odingbo's pretty good too. On the Colts. So while not the biggest names, I do know these guys are pretty solid.
I think they're going to be a good collective group.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Giants could have an advantage here, but they gotta prove that they can use it. You know what I'm saying? And that advantage would be, you know, the Giants being able to get, you know, matched up some of those against some of those corners. Now, Stevenson and Jalen Johnson are good, but you know, I think you can. Kevin Byard's good too, but I think you can get an advantage if you can get back there in that secondary. Their D line is going to be solid against the run, so I think that's your advantage. But on paper, given what we know, this one's going to have to go to the Bears too. Now, Torrey Taylor, Cairo Santos, and then they got Devin Duvernay.
Duvernay.
Yeah. That's who they got on special teams. Which way you leaning on that?
Oh, we got the advantage on special teams. Their special teams has been whack.
It's Devin Hester, pretty much.
Right.
I feel
like. That's a fact. Kickers always double doinking stuff and
weird shit happens over there. I'm with you. Giants. Coaching, here's the big one. To me, this is the difference in this game. Ben Johnson, Brian Dable. Now they got Declan Doyle, Dennis Allen. Declan Doyle's their OC. Dennis Allen is their DC. Richard Hightower, special teams coach. Who has the coaching advantage here?
Oh, we do. I don't like. I'll be honest with you. That Ben Johnson dude, man, he just seems fake to me, bro. His whole vibe is off, man. I don't like that dude. And like I said, I think we get a dub in this game. I just think it's a dub.
Pat going with the dub. No Giants. No Giants fans. I don't know how many games the Giants gonna win this year. This should be a game they should be able to get. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm not feeling Ben Johnson. I'm gonna go with the Giants here.
I'm telling you, man. I think it could be a disaster.
The thing about it is, like, the Bears are talented, but Mike Kafka to me is the key to the Giants coaching staff. I think if they do what they should do, what I think they're gonna do, because they've already been leaning towards it, they should give Kafka back to play calling. In a game like this, I think Mike Kafka can get the best of the Bears defense. If the scheme is what it should be. Brian Dable running into the teeth of the Bears defense ain't gonna cut it, and Pearl Rouse ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, you know, man, if he does that, we're gonna get our ass whooped.
You know what I'm saying? They got line. When I break down the defense, you know, like, I'm novice at this. Obviously, Pat, coach, they have more experience, but when I look at it, I look at levels: secondary, linebackers, D line, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, your D line and your linebackers, that's a lot of what helps with the run game. When you have a good D line and a good linebacking core after that, because guess what? If you got a good offensive line that can move and get the running back past the first wave or the first level of the defense, those linebackers and those safeties are going to be the ones that's going to have to come up and make those stops. So when you have a good group of guys in the second level of your defense, it makes your run defense much better. I think the Bears are going to be a solid run defense. I think you're going to have to get them passing the football, and that's what I'm saying. If Mike Kafka is controlling, is calling the plays, I think the Giants have a better opportunity to do that. So I'm gonna give the Giants the dub here. All right, man. Let's keep rolling here. We at week 11 now.
So
not too much.
I got us 5-5. What you got us 4-6?
I got the Giants 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses here. Yeah. Which is an improvement from last year.
A huge improvement.
I want to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some tough games here, man. But I think with some slight improvements, the Giants can win some of these closer games. Packers. This is a game I'm not sure about, though.
I think we have
at home versus Green Bay. Now, the thing about Green Bay is that, remember, the Giants have beat them 2 years in a row. Got them last year, got them the year before last. I think them boys pissed. They tired of losing to the Giants.
Right.
win 10, 11 games and lose to them. Like, yeah,
that's
I get
ridiculous.
it. All right, man. Packers been doing work though, man. And they got that boy some weapons. It's gonna be tough. Packers offense versus the Giants defense. We're gonna start there. They got Romeo Doubs, of course, Matthew Golden, who they drafted, Jaden Reed, also drafted Savion Williams, and they have Christian Watson there as well. Also signing McCole Hartman. Offensive line, Rashad Walker, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, and Zach Tom. Tight ends, you got Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. Of course, Jordan quarterback, Jordan Love. My man's Malik Willis, still back there, backing him up, who's been playing pretty well. And Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd are the running backs with Emmanuel Wilson there as well. Packers offense versus the Giants defense. Who you got?
I gotta go with the Packers offense, but it depends on the play style of that game. Because if they try to establish the run game, I think the advantage is to us. But for some reason, I just think that their passing game is going to give us fits, man. We're going to get them in third down situations, and they're going to start picking up those first downs because they just finding ways to, get those guys open. And, yeah, I think this is a game that would piss Giants fans off because it was like, man, we got them right where we want them. They just continue to find to get first down somehow, some way, because I think they have a good enough offensive line to where our pass rush won't be, super dominant in that game. I'm just going to be honest with you. I get an advantage to the Packers, man. They got so many weapons over there. Reed, Williams, Golden, Watson, Dobbs, Musgrave, the running back, Jacobs. Jordan Love is a huge weapon himself, man. Like, yeah, that team is loaded, bro.
They are loaded. Something tells me, though, this is a good matchup for the Giants. If they do get the Packers, see, you got to trick Green Bay. You want them to abandon the running game.
Yeah, you want them to abandon the running game.
Yeah, and you want them to try to feed all those receivers, and we want Jordan Love back there trying, because he's gonna make mistakes. We've seen it. This dude he got that Brett Favre-ish syndrome.
He will over the ball.
And so that's why I'm actually going to give the advantage to the New York Giants in this. And I know it sounds wild, but when I'm looking at this team, okay, their line's good, not great. And when I'm thinking about it, Josh Jacobs and their running game, if they can get going, it can cause a headache for you, because now you're gonna have them in third and shorts where they can, get those little easy drag routes over the middle, or those little quick passes. Jordan Love can get the ball out of his hands quickly. If you stop that running game though, and you put them in third and long, and you make Jordan Love read the field, he ain't gonna have time enough to do that. So that's where I give the Giants the advantage. I think they can. This is a game where they can make the Packers one-dimensional, and the Packers are a team that's prone to do that. They are prone to abandon the run, start throwing the ball all over the place. Advantage Giants here, yeah. Unpopular. That's what we do though. Packers defense versus the Giants offense. Here's where it gets sticky. You got Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark and Devontae Watt on the line. You got and Luke Van Ness. I'm sorry, I forgot about him.
Yeah, Luke Van Ness is nice.
Is a monster. You got Quay Walker, Edrin Cooper as your linebackers. Then you got Jair Alexander, Keeson Nixon, Nate Hobbs, and then you got Xavier McKinney, of course, and Evan Williams in the secondary. Ooh, boy. They signed Isaiah Simmons, too. I didn't know that. Advantage to me has got to go to the Packers here. This is a big advantage for Green Bay because they got pass rush and secondary where they're gonna be solid all the way through. Their linebackers are pretty good. Quay Walker's a good linebacker. I think they got you here, New York Giants. They got you here with this defense versus the Giants offense. They can easily make you one-dimensional, and Xavier McKinney in that secondary can feast. You tell me, though, Pat, how you breaking this one down? I got the advantage to the Packers.
I got the advantage to the Packers because, like you said, they do have pass rush, and they do have a very good secondary, and so it's going to be hard for us to, move the ball against these guys, man. If we're playing that same style type offense, we have to open up against the Packers, and we have to make it to where we can get play action ran. That play action, man, if we could get that play action going, I think we can actually be a decent offense. But I just don't see it the way that we've been getting coached. And like you guys say in the chat, man, you got to show and prove. Until Dabo shows me that he's willing to open up this playbook and stop trying to throw it short and get a million yards after the catch, I got to get an advantage to most defenses against us, man. I just do. It's just fair.
No doubt. So definitely like that. Definitely I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking too that's how it's gonna go down. This Packers team making this Giants team one-dimensional, and it's gonna be tough. Special teams, real quick. They got Daniel Whelan and Brandon McManus. Brandon McManus still hanging around there. They got McCole Hardman as their kick returner and Keeson Nixon backing them up with Jaden Reed also back there. Who you got? Advantage?
Packers,
I agree. Definitely agree there. Matt LaFleur head coach, Adam Stenovic, OC, Jeff Hafley, DC, and Rick Basakia, special teams coach. Who you got? Coaching staff.
Packers. Sure.
Packers it is. Who wins?
Packers
it is. I totally agree. This ain't a good matchup for the Giants.
I don't think it is.
It just ain't. It just really ain't. And with the upgrades they made, you have to wonder. Detroit Lions. Let's get into the home stretch here, y'all. Of this schedule release, man. But we got much more coming for you guys. Stay tuned. We got On the Money or Out of Pocket, man. And we got our special feature for the day. Big pass breakdowns. Detroit Lions. At Detroit. Week 12. Let's break it down, man. Let's break it down. I'm telling you, man. Detroit losing both of their coordinators. Still got Dan Campbell over there. Let's run it down. Detroit's offense. Tim Patrick, Jameson Williams, Amar-Ra, St. Brown, Khalif Raymond over there. Offensive line, they still got Taylor Decker, Christian Mahogany, Frank Ragnow, drafted Tate Ratledge, Penei Sewell, right tackle, tight end Sam Laporta. Of course, you got Jared Goff starting at quarterback, and the dynamic duo of Gibbs and Montgomery as their running backs. Offense, the Lions offense versus the Giants defense, man. Who y'all got?
Man, you gotta give it to the Lions offense, man, based on history and based on what they do. And they make good defenses look bad, so just the scheme alone, and believe it or not, Dan Campbell had a lot to do with that Lions scheme that was over there. It wasn't all Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell had a lot to do with it too. He's just a good coach, man. And I don't think the Lions are going to be as powerful as they have been, but I still have to give the advantage to the Lions on their offense versus our defense, because they know how to nullify your best asset that you have on your team, which is our pass rush. So we'll see what they do, man. They still got Gibbs, they still got Amar-Ra St. Brown, they still got Jameson Williams, Leaf Raymond, two good tight ends, very good offensive line. They're just a well-built team over there.
For sure. I'm with you. I don't see no other way. This Lions team is still the Lions. They haven't. Now, they lost a piece on the offensive line, I believe, but they cleared Tate Ratledge right in there. Don't think they're going to miss a beat. You got one of the best running games in the league, one of the best offensive lines in the league. You didn't lose that. You have one of the best receivers in the league. Honestly, one of my favorite receivers in Mara St. Brown. The Lions ain't going nowhere, man. Lions ain't going nowhere. Advantage Lions. Going to the other side of the ball, though. Aiden Hutchinson, of course. They got DJ Reader and McNeil and Marcus Davenport on the lines. In the linebacker core, you got Alex Azzaloni, Jack Campbell, and Derek Barnes. Got Terrion Arnold, Amik Robinson in the secondary, along with DJ Reed, who they just added. And then Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, two solid second safeties back there. Defense advantage, Lions or Giants?
That Lions defense gives up a lot, man. I'm going to actually give us the advantage in that. We can stabilize our run game. We can take advantage of them for sure.
I think you're right. I think see, this is one of these matchups where the Giants should be able to take advantage of the Lions defense, especially in the with the running game, like you said, because they're built much like kind of like the Giants to rush the passer, and they have a good secondary as well. They've built that secondary up with DJ Reed coming over, and you've got Branch, Joseph, and Terrion Arnold. So I like that part of them. I like their linebacker core, but it's that first part of the defense I'm just unsure of. Now, they can rush the passer, but that run defense has not been that great. Now, they added Tyleik Williams, who, I did my scouting report on him. I mean, he's good against the run, so that may help them there, but it still has to be proven. I'm gonna give the advantage to. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the Giants here. If they decide they're gonna run the football, I think this is a matchup that they can attack the run game on. But something about this game. I feel like the Giants might get smoked.
I was thinking the same thing, bro. I think they might get smoked in this game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah, this could be a situation where, say they play good against Green Bay and maybe they even beat Green Bay, although I got them. Yeah, we do got them beating Green Bay. So maybe they beat Green Bay in this game right here. They're going to get absolutely ramrodded in Detroit. I'm giving an advantage to the Lions on all levels. Coaching too. And they got Khalif Raymond as a kick returner, so you can get the advantage there. Jake Bates. I think this is an L. This is an L right here. What you think, Pat?
It's an L.
It's an L. Yeah, it's an L.
It's an L.
All right. 14, week 14. At the Patriots. Of course, the Patriots, which it means Mike Vrabel, who a lot of people wanted as the Giants' new head coach. Didn't happen. He's with the Patriots now. And they went out and got themselves Stephon Diggs. Got Mac Hollins. Of course, they still got Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, drafted Cal Williams, and they got Demario Douglas over there. First round pick, Will Campbell will be the starting left tackle. They got Cole Strange, Garrett Bradbury, Mike Olawino, and then Morgan Moses coming over from the Jets. Tight ends, they got Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper. Of course, quarterback, they got Drake May. Josh Dobbs is still over there. And running backs, they got Ramondre Stevenson, drafted Trayvon Henderson, and they still have Antonio Gibson. Advantage, New England offense or the Giants defense?
Giants defense. Point blank period. Giants defense, man. Stephon Diggs doesn't make that much up. I think we can control all that, man. Giants defense for sure.
I think this is one of the games where and they put it on prime time, so as they setting the Giants up, to be honest with you, because if this is a 1:00 game, it's a no-brainer to me the Giants win this game. But I'm about 8:00. Guys turning to pumpkins. Given the matchup, though, just talking about the matchup, I like the Giants defense versus his offense. Will Campbell, rookie left tackle. Good luck. I mean, I don't know, man. This might be a what they call a Christianing for the man. Offensive line is decent but not scary. I think though, if the Patriots run the ball, which I expect Mike Vrabel to do, I think they can make some things happen in this game with Drake May, but not a lot of weapons, not a lot of guys that's gonna bail you out here, when you get in trouble. So yeah, I'm gonna give the advantage to the Giants defense here. I mean, I just don't see it here with this Patriots offense. Not yet. They're building. They're getting close, but they ain't there yet. And the Giants defense should be, like I said, what much resource they put, it should be a top 10 defense. So a top 10 defense versus with it's probably going to be a bottom of the league offense. Defense, Milton Williams, Kyrus, Tonga, Christian, Barmore. That's on the line. Harold Landry, linebackers, Christian Ellis, Robert Spillane, Anthony Jennings. Secondary, you got Carlton Davis II, Christian Gonzalez, your boy Jabril Peppers, and Kyle Duggar at safety, Marcus Jones in the slot. Other notable names, they drafted Josh Farmer, and they got Keon White, and yeah, I mean, that's it, man. Defense versus Giants offense. Who has it?
Giants defense.
Giants offense.
I mean Giants offense. My bad. Giants offense. I think this is a game that we actually might look dominant. We might actually look dominant in this game.
I won't say dominant, but I think you could put it on them. Definitely ain't. They don't have a lot of what do you call it? Playmakers. You know, guys. That guy we gotta worry about. You know, I don't see it. Who you see on this defense? You like, oh God, you gotta stop him. Harold Landry, still that guy? I mean,
right.
So again, Giants with another advantage here. Now coaching, I'm gonna give it to the Patriots. Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, Terrell Williams. Definitely, even though I don't like McDaniels as an OC, Mike Vrabel is a very good coach. And I can't say that I wanted to coach here and then say that the coach we have has an advantage over him. That would be stupid. So I'm gonna give it to the Patriots. There. What's your thoughts on that?
Coaching is always Patriots. Like, yeah, I don't see how you can put freaking Dabo ahead of anybody, to be honest with you, right now. It's a lot of work to be done, bro.
All right, that brings us to win-loss. Who you got?
Oh, I got us with a dub in this one.
W
Finally
Giant.
get another dub.
I think that's the way I'm going to. But this is one of those games that you can flip with another game on the schedule that you swear they're going to lose, like Kansas City or some shit like that, because that's how the Giants are. One of these games, you know, the Bears, maybe this New England game, maybe the Saints game, they're going to lose one of them joints. And they're going to beat a Denver, or they're going to beat a Kansas City or a Chargers or somebody like that. It always happens that way. This one, though, picking now, preseason, I'm giving the Giants the dub. Week 14 bye. We don't got to preview the Commanders again because we already previewed them. Win or loss here. We gave them a dub the first time. This time, I'm giving them the L.
Yep.
That's how it's going to work. So, at Washington, you saying L2. I'm giving them an L there. Now, Vikings. Let's break down the Vikings here a little. Vikings, very, very good team. Let me get back to my rosters here. All right, you know the big players. They got JJ and JA. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Brought Tim Jones over from Jacksonville. Drafted Ty Felton. Got Rondell Moore from Atlanta. They got Jalen Naylor in the slot. Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Brian O'Neill makes a solid offensive
line.
TJ Hawkinson, of course, still manning down the tight end spot. Now, they got J.J. McCarthy in their quarterback, Sam Howell backing him up. And, of course, they got Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, and Ty Chandler at the running back position. Offense versus the Giants defense. Who you got? It's tough because the quarterback.
Yeah, really that's the only thing I can say.
Even still, I mean, I don't know how you. That's a hell of a fucking offense, bro.
I don't know how you screw that up, man.
If you are somewhat competent, you should be able to score.
Yeah, I gotta get an advantage to the Vikings, man.
Ain't no other way I can see it, brother. Yeah.
Because if they could get Sam Darnold looking like a Pro Bowler, yo, they could do the same thing for another quarterback. I'm gonna get advantage to the Vikings, man.
They had Mullins over there balling. They had Josh Dobbs over there balling, bro.
Yeah.
That quarterback ain't gonna stop them boys. Advantage Vikings.
They truly did, bro.
Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback. He is an offensive guru.
Yeah,
as they say. Yeah. He's a real one.
He's a real one.
Now on defense, they ain't slouching on defense either.
Nope.
Picked up Jonathan Allen from the Commanders. They got Harrison Phillips and Javon Hargrave on the defensive line. Good God. Jonathan Greenard, Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace Jr., and your boy Van Ginkel. Those are your linebackers. Isaiah Rodgers and Mekhi Blackman are the secondary, along with Harrison Smith and Joshua Metellus. They also got Jeff Okuda, Tyron Dawkins Ingram. I'm just trying to look at any other notable names that I'm looking at that got highlighted. And that looks like the main core right there for the Vikings. Defense versus offense. Who you got? Who has the advantage?
Gotta go to Vikings defense, man.
The team is loaded.
Man, that team is freaking loaded, bro. Especially they got a man over there that does not like the Giants, period.
Yeah,
the defensive coordinator position. He's gonna look to embarrass us again. And Brian Flores. So yeah, I got the advantage to Vikings, man.
Yeah. Maybe you say they have an advantage in special teams. They got Ryan White, Will Richard, place kicker. They got Jalen Naylor and Isaiah Rodgers as punt and kick returners. Head coach Kevin O'Connell, OC Wes Phillips, and of course the aforementioned Brian Flores is the D coordinator. Matt Daniels, special teams OC or coordinator. Who has the advantage? Coaching staff.
Coaching staff. Man, it was automatically the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, belt to ass.
It's an L. Sorry, guys. It's a huge L. You're going to get your fucking ass kicked. I'm going to tell you right now. Unless some of these players that we mentioned are out, or unless the Vikings late sit them, this is a fucking loss. This team is fucking loaded. And their coach is way better than you.
That's just a fact.
I don't see how you beat this team. Unless they lay down for you. That's the only way.
That's the only
way. Raiders, man. Raiders. Week 17. You're going to Vegas. Hopefully the Giants don't party too hard, because this is a game they should be able to be competitive at. So let's check out the Raiders here, see what they got going on. Wide receivers, they got Trey Tucker, drafted Jack Betch. They got Jacoby Myers, of course, Colin Johnson, Tommy Mellott, and Dante Thornton Jr. Of course, they got Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, two nice tight ends. Colton Miller, Jordan Meredith, Jackson Powers Johnson, Dylan Farham, and DJ Glaze. Offensive line looking solid. Geno Smith, of course, is the quarterback with Aiden O'Connell backing him up. And they got drafted Ashton Genty in the first round. Backing him up is Raheem Mostert from Miami. Raiders offense versus the Giants defense. Who you got?
Giants defense, man. Even though I do like Gino over there with the Raiders, and Pete Carroll coming back, he's going to give them a little bit of jolt in the arm. Ashton Genty at the running back position. They got Cooper Kupp, but I just give us the advantage on the defense. I think we can get after Geno Smith and make them make some mistakes. I'm gonna give us the advantage right there.
I agree. Definitely. I think this Raiders team, they don't really have a lot of weapons. Their weapons are on the tight end. Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Now, while I don't want to match up, while those guys are very hard to match up against, I think we can definitely do that because we're not going to have to worry about a lot. Their receivers really lie. Maybe I'm sleeping on these cats, but I don't see the threat.
I don't see it either.
Some of these other guys, these other teams. I think your threat is Brock Bowers, and if you key in on him, and as they mentioned in the chat, let's not let Ashton Genty run all over us. If you could do that, you stop this Raiders team run game. You can easily make. I think this is a team you can easily make one dimensional. You key in on Genty. You get Geno Smith trying to throw all over the ballpark, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna get the advantage, Giants. Now, Raiders defense. They got Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler, and Malcolm Kontz on the line. They brought in Devin White, Elandon Roberts, and Jacorian Bennett. Devin White and Elandon Roberts is their linebackers. Jacorian Bennett, Eric Stokes, and here's a name you guys are gonna like: Darnay Holmes starting at nickel cornerback. Isaiah Polo Mayo and Jeremy Chin at safety. I'm sorry, man. This defense looks trash, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Yes, it do.
Giants has the advantage here, man. You got Darnay Holmes in your lineup. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. You got Matt Crosby and Christian Wilkins, and yeah, they're gonna get after the passer if you become one-dimensional, but that secondary is doo-doo. Ooh.
Yes, it is.
Man, maliknabers and Darius Slayton should go off in this game. Deep down the field. I'm talking deep down the field. I'm gonna get advantage Giants, man. Which I didn't know the Raiders was this bad. I thought they had a little something over there. That was ass, bro.
Wax.
Yeah. Maybe it was good Pierce did get out of there, man. I know you want the job, Antonio, but man, that team bad, bro. Mm-hmm. We'll see what Pete Carroll can do, man. But who you got, man, in this game?
Oh, I got us in this game. I got us with a dub in this game.
Yeah, I might have to go there with you. I seen that secondary, bro. I can't honestly pick the Raiders when I look at your secondary and your receivers, and it ain't much there.
It just screams ass whoop. That's what it screams.
It looks bad. Looks bad for the Raiders. The Giants picked up some wins here later on in the season. You got the last game against the Cowboys. It's going to be at MetLife. Who you got here, man?
I had
them losing the first game.
Yeah, I got us winning this game, last game of the season. Let them go out, have a little something for the fans, get a win against the Cowboys in MetLife, and finish the season 7-10.
Yeah, I think they lose this game. You gotta show me you can beat Dallas. To be honest with you. First game of the season, last game of the season, you still ain't beaten. Yeah, it's a L. The Giants got to show me. They got to show me that they can beat teams in this division, bro. You don't match up well in your division. You don't. If Dak Prescott is injured, yes, Jay, I will reverse this pick here, and I have the right to do that based on new information. So we get to the game 7 because we're gonna do game picks week in, week out here on Giants Conversation. We get to game 17, week 18, and they look like they falling apart. Then yeah, but as of right now, roster to roster, Giants are gonna lose
big time.
A lot of games in these divisions. I got them 1-5 in the division. They could pick up another win against Dallas or sneak out a win against the Eagles, but you're getting Philly early in the season, and they ain't gonna be laying down for you like they've been doing later on in the season, the past couple years. So L, where's that put us? I got us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. 7 and 10. Pat,
you got us 7 and 10?
Yeah, Pat got us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 9.
Okay. I got us 8 and 9.
8 and 9. Yeah. 8 and 9. Yeah, Ferris, that's better than 0 and 6. Yeah, I think they get one. They probably get that Washington one. They'll probably get one against Washington. They may get Dallas, but when Dallas got Pickens, and I know he a headache or whatever, but that was I was looking at with Dallas. I was like, yeah, if you could just key in on CD Lamb pretty much, But now they gave Dak another weapon that he could just toss it up to, because George Pickens gonna be one of those dudes that can go up and get the football. You got CD Lamb running across the middle, eating up the middle of the field. You're gonna send this dude deep, him and Jalen Tolbert, your speed guy. So I don't know, man. Don't look like a good matchup for the Giants as of right now on paper. Things could change. They could sign some people. People could get hurt. Ghost says he has them 9 and 8, just missing the playoffs. I got them 7 and 10, which is an improvement, a 3-game improvement over last year. So I'm not that down on the team, but I don't think this was no playoff team. I think people that are looking at this team like that, they buying into that hype again, and I bought into that shit the past couple years. I'm not doing that again. I'm taking a realistic approach, looking at everybody's roster. That's why I went down there and named the players on everybody's roster. So who we going against. These ain't no scrub teams now. Teams like the Raiders and New England, they rosters ain't that good. You got a good chance to beat in it, just based off talent. But until Brian Dable can show me something, or until Mike Kafka turns into the next Sean McVay, the Giants are going to have a disadvantage damn near in every one of these games from a coaching standpoint. That's why they're going to be 7 and 10.
So you're based on your analysis based off the coaching.
A lot of these close games, it does come down to coaching. That. And even when the talent is close, you see some teams just prone to mistakes. That's part of coaching. Your players ain't ready, or you don't have a good enough roster. Now I think the Giants got much better roster wise, but you still got to see if they can win these close games coming down the stretch. And I do think a lot of these games are going to be close. I don't think the Giants are going to just get mollywopped like they was getting last year. I think they're going to be very competitive. But when it's close, you gotta bring it out. That comes from your coach. Your point. And that comes from your quarterback a lot of times too. Your coach and your quarterback usually wins and loses those close games 9 times out of 10. So, and I don't think the Giants have an advantage on either front. Maybe sometimes with the quarterback, Russell Wilson ain't that bad, but Giants, Brian Dable's definitely not that dude.
So let me ask you this before we get off the schedule, because I know we got to move the show on.
It's going to lead into what we about to talk about, to be honest.
Okay, so let's go ahead.
So We're gonna be right back, you guys. I'm gonna hit a quick commercial, give you guys a little bit of break, and we're gonna come back, man, with Big Pat's segment. I want to break down something here that I seen come across the way the Twitter feed. If Knicks fans, I've been playing the beat for y'all all day, man, with Jalen Brunson. And look, man, shout out to the Knicks making the Eastern Conference Finals. If you are a Knicks fan or a basketball fan, please go tap into the Man Cave podcast. He calls every single Knicks game, and he will be calling the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Indiana Pacers. I am a Nets fan, but again, if you watch Heart of the City, you know I support all the New York teams. So shout out to the Knicks, man, and shout out to Cave, man. Go support him. Hit that like and subscribe button, man. We be right back.
Who's got the rocket launcher? I say we blow it up. Now fire that thing.
For the city of sports, playing with a giant Nick, with my man S.Dart.
That's him.
You feel the vibe?
That's me.
We going live.
That's us.
That like button shared, you been subscribed.
Stadium.
That Mad Life, Big Blue, home of the Braves.
Yeah.
That turnpike, you can see that's where the game's played. NFL one day, then it's the NBA. Madison Square Garden, that's where the Knicks play. This that NY Logan, no it don't get broken. Legalize me, this shit smoking. I'm on topic, dropping another episode. The game winner, trade, maybe a field goal. Everybody right now doing the wave. You tune in, the show called The Man Cave. I see the chat, they always doing their thing. Big views, 85-inch screen. The game's on, you rush and bleed. Stay calm, you on the road and chill. Do the watch along, the show's on. The host, you know it's S-God. It's no telling the panel filled with guest stars. You're now rocking with the voice, you know who it is. It's your boy J Boogie. You're now rocking with my man S-God. I support him to the fullest, you heard? My man Mike Blaze. This is Alter Production. What that mean, we about to alter everything that's playing. Tune in, my man S.God. Support the show. Subscribe, share it. Most importantly, hit that like button.
All right, let's get into it, man. So this was an interesting article that I found. Shout out to Patricia Trainer of SI.com. She wrote this article, and it goes in to talk about it mentions Steve Smith Sr. So Steve Smith Sr. Had some comments about the Giants offense. Of course, he spent time with the Giants last couple seasons in the off season during training camp. So I'm going to if you guys want to check out the article, go to si.com, but I'm going to go through a little bit of this article, and I want you to go in on this, Pat, and first of all, I want you to, explain like why Steve Smith would think that, and just give your opinion on if he's right or wrong, and kind of elaborate on that. So
okay, let's go.
So Steve Smith, see his former wide receiver right there, but it says he came away with the impression that the system implemented by Coach Brian Dable was one of the most complex systems he's ever seen. So let's see why he thinks that. Says, I had the opportunity to go in there and just kind of sit in the meetings, understand the complexity of the offense, Smith told James Palmer during a recent episode of his 89 podcast. I believe that offense is a little bit too complex. They have a lot of one-word plays that tell everybody what to do. So keep that in mind. A lot of one-word plays. But I was really confused when I was sitting in there because they had a word and then something else. And then when they used something else, that flipped it. But then that flipped the responsibilities and everybody's supposed to know it. and it was complicated in my opinion. So he says they have a word, and then when they flip it, it flips the responsibility. So they're using one word cadences, I guess, for their offense. Then he goes on to say, then after practice, we were sitting in the meetings and they showed a diagram. And I said, oh, that's such and such and such and such. And they said, yeah. And I said, man, y'all should have just said that. You should have just said that. So this is Steve Smith talking on the podcast. Smith isn't the first to describe the Giants offense as being complex, but this is worth noting because there's a growing excitement surrounding rookie Jaxsondart and how quickly he might receive the offensive reins from projected starter Russell Wilson. So it goes on to talk about his mechanics and all right, back in there, he says, although Smith considers the Giants offense complex, he also praises concepts for being more in tune with what colleges are doing today. Says the complexity of offensive now and the verbiage is how it's communicated. What is done, they've adapted to what guys are doing in the college system. Smith said, noting how Dable has almost 3 decades of experience as an offensive-minded coach. So that's really cool. That's unique. Smith added that thanks to the familiarity of the concepts, that approach could help young players hit the ground running much faster. Says those teams are adapting and getting accustomed to how their players are being coached in college. And so they're transitioning that into the NFL a little bit. So there's not as huge as a transitional gap. Why is that important? If a guy can play fast because he's confident in knowing what he has to run, now there's one less thing he has to concern himself with. And now he can just focus on running around, what's the defense, and get my depth. So a lot to unpack there, Pat. A lot to unpack, but I want to start with the complexity of the offense because, you know, we've talked a lot about Brian Dable's scheme and why it hasn't worked when he's taken over plays. We've also talked about them possibly changing the scheme and making it, I guess, simpler because certain quarterbacks couldn't pick it up. I want you to go in on that. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna mute and everything. I want you to really dive in on that because this is a lot. This may solve the mystery of why the Giants' offense has not been producing like we've expected it to. So you got the floor, brother.
You know what that tells me is the complexity of the offense. It might not be hurting the receivers as much, but it may be hurting the offensive lineman. Because if it's one word and everybody has to flip off one word, you know, the offensive linemen have to adjust what they do too and flip what they're doing. So maybe that's why you see a couple of players. You remember when you used to see Bellinger just completely whiff on somebody on a rollout?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe that one word thing and somebody's not picking it up, and it makes the whole play look stupid because the most important part, the offensive line, they're not following their assignments correctly. It kind of makes me wonder about Evan Neal a little bit too. You know, if it's that complex, because I really don't see it with the receivers. I don't know, man. That thing could be super complex to where, hey, maybe a receiver is running the wrong route sometimes because you do see Brian Dable always throwing his hands in the air like, man, what are you doing? But you got to think, man. So you can imagine the quarterback going up there. They say, okay, X right 2-0-3 flex. And that's the play. And then they go up there and say, cowboy. And okay, everybody's like, okay, I got to switch what I do. But if one player doesn't do it on the offensive line, they don't split. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you didn't see Daniel Jones always pointing to the line of scrimmage, pointing to the lineman where to go because everything's on one word. So everybody should know what to do off that one word. And it's a communication issue. Maybe that's why we have so many penalties that hurt us, like false starts, like legal man downfield, like missing blocking assignments of people just going straight through and hitting the running back on certain plays. And if it's complicated for Steve Smith was a monster.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
One of the best receivers ever. Yeah.
So maybe this is more of Dabo's ego coming into play. You know what I'm saying? I'm an offensive genius, so I'm gonna do it this way, and I'm gonna make it complex, and you have to adapt to what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the genius. And maybe you should, just bring it back a little bit. Make some easy reads out there for your quarterback. This season here, these first 2 games are going to tell me a lot, man. I'm going to be able to elaborate it on more and more and more throughout the season, man. I'm gonna love this segment for you guys. Big Pat's game plan. Going into these Giants games, we're gonna do a lot for y'all on this Giants season. We're gonna get it cracking for y'all.
Yeah, buddy.
Based on that, you got to think, and he has a bunch of young players, so that really hurts them coming out there with that complex offense. These are not 10-year vets. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, I don't know, maybe that could play advantage. They got a lot of young people, but we get a lot of mistakes. You see maliknabers and them getting off the line of scrimmage really slow sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe this the way they call it is too complex for Hyatt. Maybe that's why Hyatt can't get on the field. You see what I'm saying? There's certain things, man, and since it's like really complicated, they can only run certain things of Brian Dabo's scheme, and that's why you get people like Wan'Dale Robinson with 144 targets. You see what I'm saying? So that's eye-opening. That's a very good article right there, man. I have to see, because when you look at Brian Dabo's system, do you ever see the quarterback adjust the line?
No.
Adjust the lineman to anybody before? How many hot route signals do you get from quarterbacks in Brian Dabo's system? So is the quarterback not allowed to hot route? Is the quarterback not allowed to adjust the line? You see what I'm saying? Because Brian Dabo, I call the play, it's going to work. Run the play. I've never, my whole time watching Brian Dabo call these plays, I've never seen him go up there I don't know. And you can't just say, oh, all the quarterbacks we got were just absolutely trash and can never play. Because I've seen bootleg quarterbacks at least go to the line of scrimmage and point something out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I sit back and think about it, I have really never seen a hot route. I've never seen a hot route with Brian Dabo's system. That's really eye-opening. I've been paying attention, but now Steve Smith opened my eyes to something too. You gotta go in and really do a dive on this, Pat, because I'm telling you, bro, it's something up with this system. Yeah,
and if they do switch it to Mike Kafka, I want to see if you do start seeing hot routes and these changes and some of these things that we're thinking about, because, and I'm thinking too, it's a reason why they made it so simple for Daniel Jones and some of these other quarterbacks, because they probably couldn't pick up on it. You know what I'm saying? They probably didn't, and it's why when they go into these meetings with these quarterbacks when they drafted, we seen the Hard Knocks thing. It's probably why they go so much into the play. You know, I was telling Jaden Daniels, all right, change it. We're gonna change this, and what's it now? That's why he be doing that, because that's his system. See, I've been trying to figure out Brian Dabo's system for so long because it's so confusing, and this is why it's giving me what I need right now, because now I'm getting clarity on why this shit looks so hectic out there on the field. You know what I'm saying? Because the system is complicated and there's confusion amongst the players when it's being what's being called and how it's being called. And if they do see something in the defense and they change it, like you said, everybody might not get the call.
And you know what? One play comes to mind. When Daniel Jones went off, remember when I did that 1 2-point conversion and he came off the sidelines and said, man, what the fuck are we doing? You remember when he said that?
Mm-hmm.
So that shit might be complex as hell, and you have to be a special quarterback, to run it the way that he wants to run it. And what I mean by special, I'm not talking about smart. I'm talking about getting out of there.
Yeah.
Like Josh Allen.
Right.
You see a bunch of plays with Josh Allen. It was like, what the hell is going on out there? But he makes a play, runs around, jumps off 1 foot, throws it from out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff is off broken plays. To be honest with you. That's a fact. So he needs a alien. Like I said, that just proves what I've been saying. He needs an alien at quarterback that can make things happen out of nothing. That's what he needs, man. Because when you go over there with the Bills, a lot of that stuff is off broken plays. So that's interesting, man. That is very interesting. And I'm definitely going to pay a lot of attention to what's going on out there on the field this season. Because if it's like that, that's the reason why people like Wan'Dale Robinson get 144 targets, because it's so complex, it's so meshed and messed up out there. It's actually making you run into coverage. And guess what? I'm just going to throw it to my outlet, which is probably Wan'Dale Robinson. Because he doesn't like to use the running backs for much.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? How many times they throw the ball to the running back out there? How many screens they run? You know what I'm saying? So that's why somebody like him would get 144 targets. It's starting to make a little bit of sense now. It's starting to make a little bit of sense. Because if that's so complex, if you run one thing that's not correctly, it'll screw up the whole play. And Daniel Jones is not a Josh Allen type quarterback. DeVito's not a Josh Allen type quarterback. Drew Lock is not a Josh Allen type quarterback. You see, that's why he wanted somebody like a Jaxsondart. He feels as he's the guy that could go out there and make stuff happen. And I'll be honest with you, if you think that he's going to go out there and make plays like Josh Allen consistently, you got another thing coming. That's why he wanted Jaden Daniels. Because Jaden Daniels is one of those quarterbacks that can run around and make something happen. Yeah, 2022 wasn't that complex because it was Kafka calling the plays. He just went to the team's strengths. And we won a couple of games that we weren't supposed to win. But when we came to a team that's just superior, more talent, we got our butts whooped because we weren't that talented as a team. But if we would have continued to build on that, who knows what we could have been. But now I'm starting to see that if it's that complex, if somebody like Steve Smith tells you it's complex, it's complex. Because he knows every route, every concept that's out there. And you're doing this with very young players. These dudes are young. And so that's why you have to have somebody like a Maliknabers who's an absolute freak.
But look at that last part that he said, though. It says teams are adapting and getting accustomed to how players are being coached in college. So if this system that he's building is conducive to college and what they're doing in college now, and this is what they trying to build, it makes sense that they didn't want Daniel Jones here.
Yeah,
and it also makes sense they've been quarterback hunting in college so heavy, because they're looking for somebody that can come in and get these calls and pick up this system, this complicated system that he runs. The quarterbacks that are already in the NFL that's coming from different systems, it's probably harder to teach them that. That's why they catered the system to Daniel Jones in year one. But then when they paid him the $40 million and Giants fans and everybody went crazy, they said, no, you're going to have to run our system now. You got paid. And he couldn't run it. So again, it looked like ass. And so now they doubling back and they saying, all right, we got to get somebody in here that can run Brian Dable's system, because otherwise it's going to keep looking how it looks. So
shit, if it's like that, look for Russ to get benched very soon.
Yeah, he's going to.
Look for Russ to get benched very soon.
That's why that's why the media is leaking that out there about Jackson possibly starting, because it's already on the wall. They know that this is going to be a setup for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson probably knows it too, but he wants to check. But this is going to be a setup for Russell Wilson, because they not gonna run the system they really want to run with Russell Wilson.
No, you have to run a different type system with Russ. Russ is a different type quarterback.
You know what I'm saying? They not gonna run what they want to run with Russell Wilson. But we want to get more into this with you, Pat, on an actual film breakdown. Because this is real good stuff here, man. Shout out to P Train for putting that out there. Now we're gonna get into on the money or out of pocket. Right after these messages, man, go check out New York Giants Full Access. We'll be bringing that to you throughout the season, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Big Pat Sports Talk, man. So check that out, man, and we'll be right back.
4, 3, 2, 1. Connect!
Thank you guys for tuning in, and look,
I'm going pretty good.
welcome to New York Giants Full Access.
All right. Y'all know what time it is. These mofos be getting out of pocket out here.
Right.
So, I have fun with this segment, man. It ain't always Giants related, like I said. I'm just going to be, we're going to do what we do, man. We're going to talk about these people that are getting out of pocket. One of them is Howie Roseman. Okay, so we got Michael Strahan, Brian Burns, Russell Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Membu, Quincy Williams, you know, Giants, Jets players. And you got motherfucking Howie Roseman bringing his punk ass to the game.
Wow.
Y'all talk to me, man. Is Howie Roseman out of pocket going to the next game? Should he be allowed in New York after all he's done? I'm going to get my Stephen A on. This is blasphemous. God damn it. What is he doing out there? You lucky the Knicks won, because if they would have lost, he was straight. It's your fault.
Right.
You brought the juju over here. I don't want to hear it. Get Howie Roseman away from the Garden. Get him away from MetLife. Get him away from Yankee Stadium. I don't want to see this dude in New York. Get him out of there. Is he on the money for showing up? Is he out of pocket? Y'all talk to me.
He's out of pocket for showing up to New York, man. But guess what? It's kind of on the money for what Howie Roseman does to New York. He just abuses New York.
Right,
He's been whooping New York's ass.
Too.
Right.
Get him out of there. We don't want him.
He's been whooping our ass for a long time, bro. And Howie
go.
Roseman is just getting better and better, but he's out of pocket, because if they would have lost it, they would have seen Howie Roseman and he got uppercutted. You should have had your ass in New York. Just gonna be honest with you. But
have showed up.
But you got to talk about things like this. One of the guys that's on that list, Michael Strahan, he was seen waving the Eagles flag. You see what I'm saying?
That's
you
true.
allow shit like this. You allow the Cowboys and the Eagles to conspire to take away a receiver from you, and then you don't even grab the next best player. You trade down and go get Kadarius Toney, and that turned out to be a disaster. You know what I'm saying? In New York, the Eagles win the Super Bowl. You turn the building green.
Yeah.
Did it through the whole season. So
Out of pocket. Stop what y'all doing.
So
Where's the pride?
yeah, Giants fans, New York, you allow him to do it, so he's gonna keep doing it. That just shows the disrespect that he has for New York, to be honest with you, because the 76ers ain't playing. It was the Celtics and the Knicks. Unless Howie Roseman is a Celtics fan or something, I don't know. But other than that, why the fuck is he in New York? The 76ers ain't playing.
Right.
But this is what New York fans allow. When you bash your team the way that you do, when you talk down about your team the way you do, this allows people to come in here and shit on you too.
I don't
and
see
guess what?
Michael, I don't see Joe Shane at goddamn Philadelphia 76ers games. Like, of course, it's trash. But again, when he was doing that, he wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
I don't see people going to the Sixers games, going to the Flyers games. We stay the hell out of Philly. Y'all stay out of New York.
Yeah, you gotta get this bitch ass out of New York, man. First and foremost, you gotta beat them on the field. That's the only way you can start earning respect.
True. The Giants,
you gotta beat them on the field.
Giants don't help it by getting not just
get mollywopped.
Getting mocked every single time. He out of pocket though, man. Let's move on, man. I ain't got too many of these for y'all today. Just 3. We're gonna get us. This was interesting right here. Ranking all 32 offensive coordinators in the NFL. Of course, this is Giants conversation. We're going to focus on our guy who comes in at number 18. Number 18, Mike Kafka, ranked ahead of the Cowboys OC, the 49ers OC, the Bears OC, the Lions OC, and the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator. Is it out of pocket or on the money to have Mike Kafka 18th ranked ahead of some of the other coordinators that the Giants typically lose to?
The only reason why I'm gonna say out of pocket is because he hasn't been calling plays for the past 2 years. So based on 2022, that's because that's the only thing you can really base it off of. You have him right pretty much in the middle of the pack. So, but 2022 was a great season for him, and it really showed what he can do. And the only reason why it's out of pocket because his play calling was stripped, not because of his performance, it's because of ego. So I think he will be higher on this list if he was actually able to call plays, to be honest with you. Because there's a couple of people up there I know that he's better than, but it's out of pocket because he hasn't done anything the past 2 years as far as being a primary offensive caller. So that's how I'm going with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's on the money though. I think Kafka's a very good offensive coordinator.
I think he is too.
I think the league season. Now this is from John Francesca Francella Football. But I think it's on the money because you got to understand, it's not Kafka's fault the Giants are bad on offense. It's Brian Daboll's fault.
Mm-hmm.
He's not calling the plays. He's not drafting the players either. You know what I'm saying? Now he helps with the game plan, according to reporters. But I'm like, okay, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Like the game plans have been asked too, which makes me think that Brian Daboll called the game plan too, because he was trying to tank. The game plan shouldn't have, like he said, Wan'Dale Robinson getting 140 targets. Those shouldn't be game plans. I would never think Mike Kafka would come over with a game plan like that. I think what he showed in 2022 should put him on this list, and I think given that he hasn't been able to pull plays, this is why they need to get Mike Kafka a chance to pull plays this year to really see his
what he's about,
what he's about, and let's see if he can be the next, great offensive coordinator out there, because the guy has talent. He learned a lot from Andy Reid. I'm sure he picked up what he could from this coaching staff. So I think he's ready, man. Just give the guy the reins, let him call the plays, get out the goddamn way, Brian Gable, and this list can be justified. I promise you that. Because you got to think what he did in 2022 with what little he had, and having that Giants team, a top 5 rushing team in the league. One of the better, but they was middle of the pack offensive wise, but it was still, their best offensive ranking since this staff has been here was with Mike Kafka calling the plays. You got to take that in consideration. I'll go a little bit deeper than that. Just past the NFL, just watching him coach the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl the past couple of years. I think the guy can coach, man. I think this is on the money. Let's get to this next one. This video.
And NYG, your mic going in and out a little bit too.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, cool. This just got a little short in there. I'm gonna get a mic soon, though. Matter of fact, I might have a bonus one for y'all. I like this one.
Yeah.
I'll be saved on Twitter bookmark. All right, so let's get to this one though real quick. It's NFL related. Try to stay on top. So Boomer Esiason went off on Caleb Williams, calling him entitled, and said he needs to shut up. So let me get to this tab here and let's hear exactly what he said here. All right. Let me cue this up.
It's going to be on his ass. When you think about this, I think a lot of these kids and their parents are nowadays, and that the level of entitlement is breathtaking. And it's no wonder why he failed initially, and it's no wonder why the coach got fired. So now they go out and get an offensive coach in Ben Johnson, and you know what? Now it's on his ass. It's going to be on his ass to live up to these so-called lofty expectations that he has for himself and that his father has for his son. And I understand, that there could be a discussion, hey, this is where quarterbacks go to die. Well, go fix it. Be the reason that the team is going to turn it around and you be the player that you think you are. And I would just tell them, just keep your mouth shut. You're going into the greatest league that there's ever been for the sport that we all love. You're going to have a chance one day to make $500 million because guys like me and guys before me all went on strike so you could actually make more money. So keep your pie hole shut and go out and play football and earn your keep and earn your respect.
All right, so that was Boomer Esiason on Caleb Williams. Shut up and play ball. We've heard that one before. So getting back to it, man. On the money or out of pocket? Him calling Caleb Williams entitled and saying he needed to shut his mouth.
Normally, I would say things like this are out of pocket, but he's actually on the money here based on the information I've got from it. It said it's been in reports that Caleb Williams did not want to go to the Bears, and he was complaining all last season, even though he had all that firepower out there. So guess what? Now you put them in a situation where players on that team might not want to play for you because now you're saying that everybody else is beneath you as such. That's the way they can take it. He might not mean it that way, but it has been proven that Caleb Williams did not want to go to the Bears, but the Bears weren't moving from him, even though they should have took Jaden Daniels over him. But he was the number one consensus quarterback coming out that year, so the Bears took the number one quarterback. But now they've retooled their whole offensive line. They've gotten you more receivers. They've gotten you more tight ends. They're doing everything in their power to help you out as far as being a quarterback of the Chicago Bears. And like Boomer Esiason said, you were supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread when you came out. Go out there and prove it. Why are you complaining? You were the number one pick, which you wanted to be. You wanted to be in the spotlight because he does like the spotlight. But he was the number one pick. 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 He was the number one pick everything can't be perfect out there for you. And you were considered elite even before you even took one snap in the NFL, generational. So go out there, shut your mouth, quit talking down about your franchise who was actually putting in major resources for you. You started off with one of the best rosters as far as a quarterback can have for being on a bad team in a long time. You had DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. They drafted Roma Dunze. They did some things for the offensive line. You had Swift. You had all those running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And you just proving that you're not a winner. Like I told people, that dude, he can put up stats, but when it comes to winning time, I just don't think he's that dude. But you can't badmouth your franchise. You're there now. Make the best of it, bro.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. That's out of pocket. And I hear everything you're saying, and you're right. Caleb Williams can't badmouth the Bears. And don't give Boomer Esiason the right to bash mouth Caleb Williams and tell him to shut up. You know, you play football too, Boomer. You know, you did some talking out there on the field. You did whatever you did. You've been in the media. You know, media people can't tell athletes to shut up and then get mad when they don't want to talk to y'all's asses after the game. Then now they got a problem with that. Oh, well, he don't want to talk. Well, this guy is going to say how he feels. He's a bit emotional. We know that about Caleb Williams, and I'm not a Caleb Williams fan, but this is why I like talking about stuff like this, because even though I can criticize somebody in a sense of, you know, running over to your mama crying on the sidelines, I can make the joke about that. I can also be fair with the kid as well, you know. And some of these guys that's in the media, you know, and they have this, as Jay say, this old man take. Just shut up and play football. Well, guess what, guys? This ain't the era you grew up in. These guys got a camera in front of their face every fucking where they go. You know, you have to understand that. There's media is rampant and is more widespread than ever before. So everything anybody says or does is going to get publicized and criticized and ridiculed and talked about and recycled through the news media over and over and over and over again. You have a right as a reporter to criticize him, but to tell a guy to shut up, like, I think that's a little over the top. You know, well, you could say what he said was wrong, or maybe you ain't like it, or just tell him to but to tell him to shut up and just play ball. But then y'all want to point a camera from this guy's face every time you see him because he's a star in the league. You can't have it both ways, dude. That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think he was going at it in that type of way. I think he was talking about his franchise. There's a difference. Now if he was just talking about something, a topic or something, yeah, that's way out of pocket. He has the right to talk about things that he want to talk about. He's talking about him pretty much bashing the franchise, saying, I didn't even want to be here. You see what I'm saying? That I think that's where he's coming from. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is just telling them to shut up and play ball, which is absolutely wrong. But when it comes to these older guys, it's always going to go that route with those guys. But I think he's talking about it in a football standpoint of you're the leader of your team. They put everything into you. They made you the number one pick, all the resources that they got for you these past 2 years. Why would you come out and say anything bad about the Bears franchise? And that would make players not want to play with you because you're talking bad about me too. You see what I'm saying? I think he's coming from that aspect. Should he use better choice of words? Yes. Keep your mouth shut. That's always going to, pique the interest of like, who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Especially since he's an Aboriginal quarterback. He's an Aboriginal guy in the media, and he's Caucasian, so you know that route's gonna come. Let's just keep it a buck. Keep it a buck here on the network, and maybe that is a little bit into it too. Because if Herbert came out there and say that, would he say the same thing? I don't know. But as far as me looking, I think he's talking about a football standpoint. But you have to use a better choice of words, and it's always like a harsh type word when it comes to aboriginal quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, like Geno
just
Smith.
shut up,
It's harsh. Yeah, just shut up. So I understand both sides of it. The only reason why I'm not saying it's out of pocket because that dude was coming out saying some crazy stuff about the franchise, like he didn't even want to be there. So you're not better than the Chicago Bears.
Though.
Yeah, I mean he just got reported saying some stuff like that too, and it came out that he was talking like that before he was drafted. So I can see both points. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's out of pocket and on the money. Who knows? But as far as the verbiage, out of pocket for sure. Very out of pocket.
Yeah.
You don't tell another grown man to just shut your mouth.
Yeah, you don't do that. And the way he did it, the way he was expressive about it, just shut up. Like, come on. Because you don't want to hear what he's saying. I mean, yeah, what he's saying is probably out of pocket from a Bears standpoint. But what Boomer is saying is out of pocket, talking about Caleb Williams, I don't want things to get confused. I try to be fair as I can.
Yeah, I'm trying to be fair here too.
Particularly like Caleb Williams, and some of the stuff I don't really like how he vibes. But again, you have to let this kid go through whatever he's going to go through in this league.
Young, man.
You can't just be on the guy about every little fucking thing he says or does, and then tell him to shut up. So what if he does shut up, and you go and put a microphone in his face, and he'd be like, I don't want to talk to you, Boomer, because I don't like you. Now you're going to get some type of deal. Well, he don't want to talk to the media.
Yeah, but you just told him to keep his mouth shut.
See what I'm saying? So, but he's supposed to be respect. That's why I don't like when they say stuff like this. You need to keep your thoughts in your hands sometimes and say, look, even though I think he should shut up, which you probably think so, and a lot of us probably do, they don't give you the right to go out there and say this shit in that type of manner.
It can be done in a more professional way.
Exactly, because this is a professional platform that he is. WFAN. You know what I mean? So again, hold your professional a little bit better.
Exactly, because that's where he's coming from. Like, he's not being professional, but you're not being professional in the way that you're handling. You could have easily just said, hey, look, man, I don't think it's a good idea for you to be going out there bashing the franchise when they made you the franchise. You know what I'm saying? He could say something like that. You could say, hey, listen, man, stay out the media. Don't even talk to the media for a little bit, bro. Get your thoughts together and go out there and ball, man. Like you said, you do have a chance to make $500 million one day. Go out there, ball, and get your money. That's how easily he could have said it, but he's going about it as, you know how it sounds, man. Let's just keep it a buck. It just sounds like, boy, shut up. that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it do.
So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
but I do know that he's going about a professional way as far as him talking about the Bears.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna give y'all this for the Knicks fan. I thought this shit was funny as hell. So Knicks fans decide to confront Brian Windhorst after the game. You guys know Brian Windhorst is ESPN. He been does basketball, been following LeBron James' whole career. So Knicks fans caught up with Brian Windhorst after the Knicks eliminated the Celtics. Let's see what they had to say to Mr. Windhorst. Let's take a listen.
How do you feel about Boston losing? I don't give a fuck. Knicks is Knicks. Look all that shit now. All that shit now. What you gotta say? How do you feel about Boston losing? I don't give a fuck. Knicks is Knicks. Look all that shit now. Look all that shit now. What you gotta say?
I'm gonna say this, Giants fans. This is what happens, and this is how you can act when you beat your rival. You see what I'm saying?
You gotta love New Yorkers, yo. Yeah. They pulled up on my man.
Brian been talking shit about the Knicks and the Celtics is gonna beat you and all this, and they beat the Celtics. And now you're able to troll the guys that have been trolling you.
That's
you see what I'm saying? That's
special,
how we should be able to treat Howie Roseman walking
dead
out.
Ass, yo.
Yeah. Howie, how you like how we whooped your ass? And he started saying, "Nigga, fuck you. Get the fuck off of MetLife field." Don't ever bring your bitch ass back.
Yo,
That's
one
the
of
type
the
of
best,
stuff that
one of the
gets
best
you.
ever, Jay, man. For real,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not a Knicks fan, like I said, but I love New York.
He couldn't
That's
do nothing
You
but smile.
can't, yo.
He took his walk of shame. He couldn't do nothing but smile. He couldn't get
Yeah,
mad.
shout
He
out
just
to
walked
Brian
off.
Windhorst,
Yeah.
for taking it like a champ, not getting
Yeah, getting emotional or anything because he knows sports. He know how they go out there. But he was talking shit. And he owned it up. He smiled. He started. I know how he owned it because he was getting ready to respond. And it was like, "Fuck you. We ain't trying to hear what you talking about." And he smiled and he walked away. Ain't no punk thing about that or nothing. It's just it is what it is. You know, so it is what it is. This is where Giants fans have to get to. Quit letting Howie Roseman come in your shit and talk shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Knicks fans, man. They doing something about it.
Yo,
You know
the real talk, man. Stand up, New York, man. That was a wonderful moment, man. I would love the day when I could be able to do something like that. Yeah. Oh, is that shit you throw my head? Shut up.
Right. Fuck out of here. Talk that shit now.
Right, man. But yeah, that's gonna be it, man, for On the Money or Out of Pocket, man. I hope you guys like this segment, man, and definitely, man, be sure to tune in every Sunday right here for New York Giants Conversation, man. We cook like this every single Sunday, man. And we got a lot more in store. We're gonna beef up that segment that I had today. Big Pat's game plan. That is gonna be dope. We're going to keep bringing you On the Money or Out of Pocket. We're going to get into some New York Giants trivia during the season, man. I might come out with some during the preseason as well. I want to say that for the season. I got a special way I want to put the questions together, so you guys are going to love it. And of course, we're going to have the call-in portion of the show. Today's show ran a little bit over, but next week, I will take your calls. We might make the whole show a call-in show next week. I don't know, since we ain't been able to take your calls today. But we're gonna wrap it up. I got the Giants 7-10, man. Bottom line, that is my schedule prediction for the preseason right now. And of course, we get into our predictions week by week. But right now, the way I'm looking at this team, look like a 7-10 team to me. And would that be enough for Brian Dable and Joe Shane to keep their job? I don't know. We'll see. But 7-10 is better than 4-13. So you have to think that this team is going to improve, even though the schedule is much, much tougher. You have to think this team is going to be better than last year, man. But what's your final thoughts, man, Pat, before we get up out of here?
Like I said, appreciate you guys tuning in. And like I said, we're definitely going to get that call in for you guys next week. Do apologize about not getting the call in, but, man, we just had so much action to give you guys today going through that schedule. I got us at 8-9. If we finish 8-9, I definitely know their jobs will be safe. 7-10, I think their jobs will be safe as well. Just depends on how it rolls. And if we do go 7-10 or 8-9, I do believe jaxsondart gets in about probably like the last 3 games of the season and let him play and see what he got. But you guys tune in for Giants Convo, man. This NFL season, Aboriginal Sports Network got you, man. This is where you're supposed to be. You want your news, man. You want your Giants news. You want your NFL news, NBA news, MLB news, wrestling, boxing. Man, we got some heat coming for you in these next couple of months, especially during the football season. You know where you're supposed to be. But Giants Convo, we always gonna hold it down for you guys, man. Hope you guys appreciate this show. Hit that like and subscribe button for us right here on the Aboriginal Sports Network. And if you're watching us on Twitter, hit that follow button for us there, man. Thank you guys for your support. You keep us going, and we're going to keep bringing that fire to you guys, man. Best morning show on Sundays, man. I don't care. Hey, we got you, man.
No doubt, man. But appreciate y'all in the chat. Like I said, I want to hear from you. Y'all tune in next week, man. We're going to open up the call lines early. and we're gonna keep them open. So definitely tune in. I appreciate all the loyal supporters in the chat that keep the chat going. Jay Ferries, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna wrench you up. I'm gonna wrench Iman up. I'm gonna give you some wrenches here. Want you guys to hold the chats down for us. You guys are great. You are part of the show. You are part of the network. You already know. Appreciate y'all always tapping in, always comment, always showing support. Now, definitely coming up. Stay tuned. Like I said, on the Aboriginal Sports Network, we do have some shows coming out for you. I'm gonna be doing a morning/afternoon show where we're covering all sports. Probably gonna be dropping that Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Pat has something coming out on the NFL, and we're gonna be doing an NBA show as well throughout the week. And of course, on the weekend, you can always catch New York Giants conversations. And football season, you're gonna get college Saturday, pro Sunday. We got you covered there. And of course, my man Cave, Leaf Diggy, Coach Ed got you covered on everything basketball. Mets 21-28, wrestling, wrestling, NASCAR, and baseball. Shout out to Mets, and shout out to the whole network. Of course, if you want more Giants content, check out TP Way. Check out Rob Zero. Rob gonna be on his way back soon, man. Shout out to you, Rob. Appreciate you, bro. We got you, man. Don't worry, handle your business. So, but that being said, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man. And let's hope these damn New York Giants do something this year, because I'm tired of bashing this team. I'm tired of talking negative about this team. I want some positivity in my life. And since the Giants are a part of my life, I need them to be positive and show something this year.
You got a toxic relationship, Giants.
Right.
Fix this.
Gotta fix this shit. We need to go to some counseling. You know, we're gonna have to work on. I'm gonna have to work on me. You gotta work on you. Shit like that.
It's abuse.
But right. That being said, y'all, we're up out of here, man. Doses, y'all.